A very good morning to you and welcome to the show. This is the Key Points with me, Abna Tabi. It is the 3rd day of July 2021 and we are live on TV3, also live on 3FM 92.7, online at 3news.com and also on our Facebook page at TV3 Ghana. And we are running from now till 9:50 a.m. where conversations will be brought to a close. But before that, we would have done some serious analysis regarding the issue table for conversation this morning. And today we're going all out to look at issues concerned with security, particularly looking at the Ejura occurrences and many others that followed in that same order. We are going to be asking serious questions about that. And so the Ghana Armed Forces has dominated news headlines all through the week, and it has been for the very wrong and disturbing reasons. So the week started with news of the mob attack on Ibrahim Mohammed, popularly known as Macho Kaka, in front of his house in Ejura in the Ashanti region at about 1:30 a.m. on Sunday, June 27, 2021. Unfortunately, he did not survive the attack and died on Monday, 28 June 2021. Then came the protest in Ejura over Kaka's death after his burial on Tuesday, the 29th of June 2021. This protest turned deadly as military personnel ostensibly deployed to control the crowd shot 6 people, leaving 2 of them dead and 4 severely injured. Now, the Interior Minister, Ambrose Derry, came under heavy criticism for the deployment of the military and the use of lethal weapons to control the crowd of protesters. The IGP, James Opombuenu, strongly defended the action of the security personnel, saying that security forces are allowed to use lethal force against armed protesters. Then there was a clamor for the president to speak when 2 days after the death of Kaka and 1 day after the killing of the 2 protesters, no word had emerged from the presidency. Eventually, on Wednesday, 30th June 2021, the acting director of communications at the presidency issued a statement indicating, among others, that the president had instructed Interior Minister, Honorable Ambrose Derry, to conduct a public inquiry into the circumstances that led to the occurrences of Tuesday, 29 June 2021, and also provide a detailed report from the inquiry with recommendations for appropriate action within 10 days. So in effect, the Honorable Interior Minister has up to the 9th of July 2021 to submit the report to the president. The minority resisted or seriously objected to the call for an inquiry or a public inquiry into it. They rather recommended a commission of inquiry within the intendment of Article 278 of the Constitution 1992. Now, subsequently, a 3-member committee has been set up to look into this occurrence. A lot of issues have been coming up for conversation, and today on the show we shall be looking at that, the Ejura incident. And as if that wasn't enough, 2 days later we heard news emerging from WA of some soldiers meting out serious brutalities to some citizens in WA, also raising a number of issues. And so today we're going full out to look at this issue about security brutalities by security agencies in the country. Why is this continuing? What can be done to curb the situation? This is the issue we've taken for conversation this morning because obviously it is very important. This is the Key Points. Stay with us. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, I'll introduce to you our panelists to delve straight into this issue, and we shall bring a whole lot of perspective to this. We'll be right back.
For over 20 years, Chemo has gone the extra mile to beautify homes across Ghana. We offer a wide variety of world-class bathrooms, tiles, kitchens, and interior finishing, giving customers the peace of mind they need to relax and create their dream spaces. We assure you of unbeatable offers, expert advice, and premium customer care. Locate our showroom on the Spintex Road, close to Manette Junction, or call 0900 200 000. Follow us on social media at Chemo Home. Chemo, relax, dream, create.
Impressor oil and capsules are carefully formulated to give fast relief from pains associated with arthritis, musculoskeletal pains, waist and back pains, and pains related to sports and other injuries. They contain extras from carefully selected plants that keep the joint strong by stopping the degradation of glycosaminoglycan and support joint lubrication activity. The extras have antioxidant property and eliminate harmful toxins that lead to joint pains, muscular pains, and bone weakness. The combined usage of Impressor capsules orally and Impressor oil topically gives faster relief. They provide relief for a longer period of time. Their combined effect results in soothing sore muscles, alleviate joint dryness, and improve numbness at joints and extremities. With Impressor, pain flees. For bulk purchase, contact Iona Pharmacy 0553 134 185 0243 123 224. This advert is FDA approved.
Bonsoir, monsieur. Madame. Et voilà.
Ah, babe, what is this?
This is the escargot. The foie gras. Oui.
Where did she go?
You pa one casa who say obase your pay fiedian. Eh?
It's been long since you ever felt like this.
Welcome to the best in Ghanaian entertainment on Aquaba Magic. Efie. Welcome home to Aquaba Magic on DSTV channel 150. It's your moment. DSTV.
Since the start of the year, they've served you with unrivaled entertainment. They've made your Sunday night super late. It's now time to reward the stars of Date Rush Seasons 4 and 5. It's time for Date Rush Viewers' Choice Awards 2021. Who wins the most popular female, most popular male, drama king and drama queen, most controversial couple, and the biggest of all, the best couple of the season? To vote for your favorite, dial *713*19# and follow the prompts. The best couple of the season wins an all-expense-paid trip to Dubai, courtesy Kano Buy and Fly promo. Date Rush Viewers' Choice Award. Everyone deserves love.
The Saturday mornings will never be the same again.
We will bring you the best mix of sports and lifestyle content on Warm Up Plus.
We will interview exciting professionals from different fields of endeavor, including sports and fitness. Give fans an opportunity to show their passion and preview upcoming games.
Discuss what's trending in the world of sports and entertainment, give you lifestyle tips, serve you music, exercise, dance, laugh, and have an absolute ball on TV each Saturday.
So whether you're a fan or you just like fun,
you will absolutely love Warm Up Plus.
Warm Up Plus shows live Saturdays at 10 a.m. only on TV3.
Welcome back. Now, this is the Key Points. We're live on TV3, also live on 3FM 92.7 and online at 3news.com, also on our Facebook page, TV3 Ghana. Now, we will be looking at the issue about security. Obviously, this week has been dominated by several issues, headlines about brutalities being meted out by security agents, particularly people coming from the Ghana Armed Forces, talking about Ijra incidents and all of that. Now, just in case you missed out on any of these developments, we've put together a story that will put everything in perspective for you to see exactly what we're talking about on the show. But before we take that story, let me quickly introduce our panelists for this conversation. We have Kamaldeen Abdullahi. He is seated at my extreme left, Deputy Communications Director of the New Patriotic Party, NPP. He's a former National Nasara coordinator as well. Next to him is Dr. Ishmael Norman. He is the president of the Institute of Security, Disaster and Emergency Studies. And next to him is Adib Sani. He is a security analyst and executive director of Jati K Center for Human Security and Peace Building. Good morning, gentlemen. It's good to have you.
Good morning.
So like I said, just in case you missed out on anything regarding developments this week, particularly looking at the actions of security personnel, let's take a look at this. We've put this together as a wrap on exactly what happened during the course of the week. Let's take a look.
Tell me where you gonna run go. Yeah, I beat some hair. Tell me play. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh. Tell me where we gonna run go. After making our motherland a better place to live. Tell me where we gonna run go. When them say we have to pay for the oxygen we breathe. Answer me now, Mr. Big Man. You know this everybody want to go and go off for it. A simple life. It's all we want to live. Give me food, give me clothes, give me love and give me shelter, shelter. Simple life. It's all we want to live. Give me food, give me clothes, give me love and give me shelter, shelter. Yeah, wouldn't be here me please. This is when you sang me, I sing from the deep. Down in a me heart and me I feel like to weep. Only but thing I go on where the people can't keep, can't sleep. But the burn it and become your self-esteem. You are the one to make life easy, same you and make it harder. After everybody mash up and there is nowhere to scatter. Tell me where we gonna run go. After making our motherland a better place to live. Tell me where we gonna run go. When them say we have to pay for the oxygen we breathe. Answer me now, Mr. Big Man. You know this everybody want to go and go off for it. A simple life. It's all we want to live. Give me food, give me clothes, give me love and give me shelter, shelter. Simple life. It's all we want to live. Give me food, give me clothes, give me love and give me shelter, shelter. Well then, enough of them sell out, sell out. Burn them sell out. For selfishness, we see them sell out. Greedy life, them tell a lie. The truth they will always try to hide. Yeah, call a spread and don't call it a dagger. Living big at the expense of a brother. You don't have no pride, you think you rich, you is a robber. Get you first, take the poor boy. Gonna spread and don't call it a dagger. Living big at the expense of a brother. You don't have no pride, you think you rich, you is a robber. Get you first, take the poor. Tell me where we gonna run go. After making our motherland a better place to live. Tell me where we gonna run go. When them say we have to pay for the oxygen we breathe. Answer me now, Mr. Big Man. You know this everybody want to go and go off for it. A simple life. It's all we want to live. Give me food, give me clothes, give me love and give me shelter, shelter. Simple life. It's all we want to live. Give me food, give me clothes, give me love and give me shelter, shelter.
Right, so that was the story put together there for you to know exactly what happened during the course of the week. Scenes from Ejura in the Ashanti region and also Wa, and devastating videos there. All these videos have gone viral and people have been speaking about this. I mean, social media went agog when all these videos were put on there. A number of issues have come up. We're asking questions why the continued brutalities meted out to citizens by security agents who are supposed to be protecting the citizens end up beating them up, brutalizing them, and all sorts of things happening to them. Many issues, many questions up for conversation this morning. A lot of questions being asked. Why is this situation continuing? Several commissions of inquiry or committees of inquiry or public inquiries have been launched into various instances of such brutalities. But question is, what becomes of the reports or the recommendations or the findings that are put out by these committees? Indeed, another committee has been set up to look into this. Question is, what would become of it? Are we optimistic, or should we be optimistic, or perhaps just turn a blind eye because historical antecedents suggest that probably nothing good is going to come out of it? Or hey, we can also be optimistic. We'll wait and see. But as I indicated, lots of voices have been coming to the fore in respect of these issues. One of such major voice is Dr. Benjamin Kumbo, who's been speaking to this issue. Let's take a listen to that, and then we will come to the panelists in studio.
Most of these things are occasioned by people who did not get into these institutions as a result of merit. And you see, when somebody doesn't get into a security situation, the person is not properly socialized. And you see every military training, they break you down and remold you. That is why you make it a commitment that you can take the bullet and die in defense of your nation. You need a special training for that type of psychological orientation. There is no way somebody who gets into these agencies out of political party affiliation, family affiliation, whatever affiliation, that is not based on any sound military criteria of selection, will not do the type of things. Because when they get in, the period of training, they will not follow the regimentation. The instructors are very careful on what to do. You remember when I was defense minister, I had to get a whole intake of recruits dismissed because a recruit suddenly turns out to say the training is hard. Meanwhile, the instructors who are there, who do the 15 kilometers jogging and fatigue with them, are about 10, 15 years older than them. And they can go through that endurance. And 17-year-olds, 18-year-olds are saying it is too hard. This is a dangerous group. And as a result, they took up postures which amounted to mutiny. Coming as somebody who understands the security sector, I said, no, every one of these will go. And they were all dismissed. That is how you build the integrity of your armed forces. And that even if somebody is facilitated to join the army, and the person misbehaves, whether in training or out of training, use that person to set the example. That this institution, we don't have your type of material, and you have no place here. That is the only way you can keep the integrity of your institution going. They are misusing the military because we know the role of the military. We know the exceptions to those rules. And we know the analysis that go in to justify why you must use the military. So if somebody's neighbor shouts across the wall to insult a person's wife, and the person happens to be a big politician, give me a platoon of soldiers to go and teach this person where power lies. When you use your military in that fashion, you have a problem. Oh, are these not these other party people who are the ones instigating this thing in Ejura? Don't worry, we are bringing soldiers, they will teach them a lesson. You don't run security like that. You don't run security like that. Before you deploy people with lethal weapons who are going to use live ammunition, you must be emotionally stable yourself. And you must arrive at that decision.
Right, so that was Dr. Benjamin Kumbo, their former Interior Minister, speaking to the issue, raising issues about the recruitment processes and all of that. But let me remind you that this show today is themed Ejura Killings, Speaking Truth to Power, Curbing Security Brutality. Indeed, this is a very, very important issue, and so the entire 3 hours today is dedicated to this, and we're going to be looking at serious dimensions and angles to the whole development during the week. As indicated, we have Dr. Ishmael Norman here. There's also Adib Sani and Kamaldeen Abdullahi. We shall be joined subsequently by Honorable Peter Tobu, the Honorable MP for Wa West constituency. So when he comes through, we will do the needful and introduce him. But let's start off with Kamaldeen. Let me come to you here.
Good morning, Nabina.
Good morning. It's good to have you.
Let me say a very good morning to Doctor and my brother Adib. Of course, to the cherished viewers, I say a very good morning to you. We actually mourning a father in Koforidua. I couldn't have been here, but given the imperative nature of the theme for this discussion, one has to just seek for an excuse and rush here. Let me say commiseration goes to the family of Berima Ochre Boateng. Abena, sad day, Ejura killings, speaking truth to power. That appears quite a very, if you like, instructive theme for everyone, and a very important one for that matter. Speaking truth is where I would like to emphasize here to begin with. Let me first commend the media for being very vibrant. That's what we expect. We should have a vibrant media, and we should have a media that will say it as it is, because we will all have to play a role in molding or in building our country. And of course, the media is not left out. However, having a vibrant media, same media must also be careful in the dissemination of what they come out with. Fake news these days all over. And yet, you see certain headlines that, of course, go to cement what, if you should go into it to investigate, would establish, or you would establish some amount of fakeness in the, the information that you're putting out there. Why do I say this? Ejura in perspective. Series of stories coming out. First, there are those who blame the state. The state sent some thugs to go kill, if you like, Ibrahim Mohammed, Kaka. Others come out to say, no, he's a member of some Fix the Country campaign group. The reason why he was attacked and killed. All these stories came out. You see, it is important we all say that, look, a single life in this country lost is a shock change to us as a nation. Well, we never know what the person, of course, is going to contribute in terms of development for us. You take off the life, Ghana suffers. But the point is, when it happens, then we come up with a plethora of stories that when you chase those stories, you realize that some truth is not therein. That's the danger. I cited headlines, Fix the Country campaigner killed. Okay? Now, the story comes out to be that it is not the case.
Well, the investigations are still ongoing.
I'm saying there are
so
stories like that.
Too soon to conclude that.
I'm not making a conclusion, but of course there are a series of stories that has come out to point out that, look, this gentleman per se was not killed or attacked as a result of being an activist or being a Fix the Country campaigner or campaign member, as it were. My point here is that we should find a way of, as a media, okay, we should find a way of getting to the bottom of the matter, getting the truth and reporting same. Now, Abna, fast forward to what happened. I want to say that the inhabitants of Ejura, and for that matter, the family of the late Kaka and those who died subsequently, obviously are not happy. They're in a sad mood. And I will commensurate with them as well. But what led to the death of the subsequent ones? Security situation, crowd control. I'm happy we're seated with analysts here, and they may give us some certain perspectives too, how crowd control actually is supposed to be carried out. I am someone who is against the usage of lethal weapons, or if you like, live bullets, as it were, in curbing the crowd. That is not a proper, and that cannot be professional, as it were. There are situations where sometimes it happens. And like the interview that preceded our discussions here, when the former defense minister says, look, emotionally, the person you are even sending with such weapons must be top-notch, must be someone who indeed cannot be easily provoked, because the lives of people are so important, and you cannot take away the life of someone like that. But how well have we trained people that who are, security men who are supposed to handle such weapons, okay, before deploying them to, if you like, curb crowd or control crowd, as it were? I think we should look into it.
We'll definitely look into it.
And clearly, we will damage this discussion, which is a very important one, when we seek to play the blame game.
Well,
immediately. When I say to seek to play the blame game is, okay, who is in power? The government of the day is in power. Once the government of the day is in power, anything that happens, squarely, we have to blame it on the government. I agree, because authorities are appointed by the government. But you see,
but who else in the scheme of things should be blamed? I mean, if not the government in power.
I do understand. Of course, I sit here as a communicator for MPP, okay? I am supposed to be communicating, okay, on behalf of the MPP, as it were. However, when matters are supposed to be said as they appear, then I choose to say it differently. Yes, somebody would go a long way to say it is the MPP I want to blame, but Kamal has a role to play. Point I want to make is that we task people to work. Like the case of Wa, okay? Young men who are supposed to belong to the armed forces are sent there for some purposes. Then they go beyond why they are there to do what is untoward. Then instead of us all coming to condemn it, call for investigation properly, and of course, when it's established that a wrongdoing has been commissioned, then the punitive measures will also be followed, will be followed. We wouldn't do that. We just say that, look, the government of the day has caused insecurity, and that ends it. We are not professing even solutions. Yes.
But that's the kind of conversation we're having here. We're trying to understand exactly what happened, who is to be held responsible. I think that's one thing that is lacking when it comes to, the discourse we have. We seem to generalize everything, put a blanket over everything, and the people who are to be held responsible are let to go. And I think it's about time that individual responsibility is, identified, and then But you brought in the bit about the issue about insecurity. I will come to you later on the question about the general sense of insecurity. But before that, let me listen to Adib Sani here on the issue. Let's look at how Kake's death and the subsequent issues that came, it came with it. The allegations that his death had to do with his social activism and all of that. Then, fast forward, there was the protest and the deployment of military personnel there and everything else that came with it. People have been asking, that's the most appropriate thing to do, deploy military personnel to control that kind of crowd. I mean, we saw that video. Was that the crowd that necessitated the military deployment? You are the security analyst.
Well, first of all, a very good morning to yourself and your production team and my co-panelists sitting here. In political science, there's something we call social contract theory. It is based on the simple fact that we give our mandates or our votes to politicians, and we also expect that they give us some level of assurance so far as our security is concerned. So you cannot completely detach politics from what is happening, because a lot of it has to do with political commitment towards addressing the fundamental issues that we've had to grapple with so far as managing the security of the state in a much more progressive manner is concerned. What amazes me most is the fact that we could have been able to prevent the issue from escalating into what it is today, because I have taken the trouble to speak with some people on the ground, and they have been quite sentimental about the fact that when Kaka was killed, there was several attempts to attract the attention of the local authorities to the fact that they needed justice, and perhaps he was killed as a result of his social activism. Unfortunately, nobody did anything. There was growing agitation and anger, not just within the Kaka family, but the larger, community. To be specific, the Zongo community in Ejura. And you see, there are NIB officials, National Intelligence Bureau, in every single metropolitan, municipal, and district assembly area in Ghana. Aside that, we have the police intelligence, we have the RECSEC, we have the MUSEC. But what amazes me is their inability to use early warning signs to detect that, hey, the trajectory we're going is quite dangerous and could explode in our faces, because this is something that has been used by intelligence gathering. I mean, at the continental level, we have the early warning mechanisms developed, the subcontinental level and the very local level, and that has always been something they used to gather intelligence and to preempt that there was trouble in the way.
So you're saying that failed in this
That
instance?
failed completely. Unfortunately, the protest started, and most surprisingly, the police made 2 arrests just when the protest started. And the manner in which we managed the whole protest is something that I find quite awkward, because under normal circumstances, it is the police that does the crowd control. To be specific, the rapid deployment force, or the formed police unit, because they are specially trained to manage crowds, even when they get violent. And when they arrive at the scene, there are a number of standardized operational procedures they go by. Sometimes, depending on the context, depending on the mood of the crowd, you make an attempt to even establish a communication channel with the protest leader and try to reach a level-headed solution to whatever is going on there. But if the police is overwhelmed, that is when they call on the military to complement, their role. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. And even if you are pushed to use force, we have different types of force. We have different layers. I mean, you can start with the use of water cannons, tear gas, pepper spray. You can use the batons, the shields, and a whole lot. Last resort is the use of lethal, ammunition. Unfortunately, when you take a look at the videos that surfaced online, rather, the last resort was the first resort. Because when you look at the videos, especially that one that shows the arrival of the military, which was in the lead, and the police behind them, and a water cannon by them, you would realize that they simply went to action firing. And I spoke with a source at the Ejura Government Hospital that has it that one of, I think, the 2 or 3 persons who were killed had a bullet hole. The entry point was to his back. And the other person had it to his chest. So you know full well that this was a deliberate targeted killing, because if it were in the lower abdomen, because when you fire, and I'm happy Dr. Norman is here for obvious reasons. When you fire, there's a recoil action. Okay, so when you intend targeting the feet, the recoil might make it go up a bit, then would target the tummy. Okay,
but I mean, what you're saying is not far-fetched, because in the videos, you saw somebody actually squatting and aiming. So definitely there was, the intention is aim. And what's the object of aiming?
Exactly.
To shoot.
Yes, but sometimes you see, you can aim to decapitate. I mean, you can aim to disable the threat. Okay, but I don't think the threat was that existential, was that immediate to demand that they use live ammunition. And come to think of it, and like I said, I'm excited Dr. Norman is here. When you are firing warning shots, there are 2 ways to do that. You either fire into the air or into the ground. Okay, and the angle of the barrel of the gun counts. So let me use this water as an example. If you get to the protest site, okay, and you point it beyond their heads like this, what you are succeeding in doing is hitting someone somewhere who has nothing to do with what is going on, because the bullet travels at a certain velocity. But when you shoot at a 90 degrees or 80 degrees angle, the bullet flies up into the sky, and at the point it loses velocity and it drops. And when it's dropping, it only drops as hot metal. So even if it comes to contact with any skin, it will just give you some light burns. But when you do this 20 degrees angle or 30 degrees, I mean, you might be killing someone somewhere who has nothing to do with what is going on. So I think a lot of it has to do with the training regime. I don't know. I think perhaps some of it has to do with some level of incompetence. And, you know, for us who are on TV and radio and with the masses in the trotros and the taxes, when it happens like this, we blame nobody but the government, you know, because we expect that the government would provide the needed security. And this is in the wake of, you know, a number of other security challenges facing the country. I mean, I remember in 2019, I read the U.S. State Department report, Travel Advisory to Ghana, that pointed that crime is on the increase, especially violent crime in Ghana. And the last one they published was somewhere in August 2020. That points to the same fact. And according to that report, local authorities seem to be lacking the capacity to confront the scourge. In the past few years, our murder rate is well beyond 500. But the question is, have we made any efforts to bring it down? I remember when this government...
What's the frequency? Is it a monthly?
No, annually. Annually. And just recently, the Interior Ministry published their reports. For the first quarter of this year, there was about a 30% spike in murder rate against last year's, even though the second quarter points to a reduction. I don't know what really went into it. But when this government first came to power, one of the first appointments was the National Security Minister, which wasn't so in the last administration, which obviously was a manifestation of the commitment of the president towards improving the general security of the state. But as a project officer, I don't believe so much in activities. I believe in outcomes and outputs. So amidst all of these efforts, and trust me, it's unprecedented in the history of the country. I don't think any government has spent so much on security, so far as intelligence gathering equipment and the rest is concerned, like this government. Really? But to what end?
That's the question.
Has it improved the general security of
the state? So then, in effect, it doesn't mean you need to put in so much to get a certain level. Is that what it is? Because if that's what you're saying, then we should have seen a certain level of outcomes, which would necessarily be commensurate with the level of inputs.
Well, not necessarily. Maybe you can put a little, but be more strategic, be more targeted at the fundamental issues rather than the superficial. And we are so accustomed to reactive, superficial way of addressing security issues. For example, Honorable Kwesi is killed, then we think the solution to it is give security to MPs. Or
ad hoc measures.
Robbers attack using motorbikes, and the solution is take the bikes from them. That is superficial, you know. That is just like a farmer getting rid of weeds on his farm by trimming it rather than attacking it from the DNA or uprooting it. So we need to deal with the fundamental issues. And I'm particularly excited that for the first time in the history of the country, we have a national security strategy. But it doesn't end there. The implementation is key. Exactly. And who are to implement? All of us. And I'm hoping that we'll show better commitment going forward.
Very well. Dr. Norman, I would want you to touch on what Adib Sani said in terms of the level of resources that have gone into it and the level of, if like, the outcomes that we are seeing. What do you make of that? But also, still talking about the training of, you know, security agency. I just want to make reference to something the IGP said when he met with the Public Accounts Committee, that indeed there is a manual. The police service has a manual that provides the required steps to take when facing unarmed or even armed protesters, be it lawful or unlawful protest. That's what he says. And he goes on to say that when confronted with unarmed protesters, the police request for calm through a megaphone. So, you know, there are those stages through a megaphone. However, should it escalate, the use of spray guns, tear gas, and blank armor are the preferred means to resolve matters. So then the question is, if indeed this kind of manual exists, you would expect that the police or security agencies would necessarily comply. But obviously what we saw in the videos coming from Idra clearly didn't suggest that. But before you come in, let's take a listen to the IGP on this issue.
We do have a manual on the use of force. Normally, you speak to the people through a megaphone or you shout if they can hear you. You spray water, you throw tear gas, and then you use blank ammo, and then eventually you use live ammo. But Honorable Chair, you and I know that in very fluid situations, there's no hard and fast rules when the lives of the police officers are threatened, that they should go through all this. So depending on the nature of the situation you are dealing with, then you can go through all these motions.
So, Dr. Norman.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Abna, and I'm happy to be with Kamel D and, of course, my dear friend Adib. I think, let me start with the IGP statement.
Right.
The IGP is confused about critical decision-making at the site of an event. The police manual he's talking about is just operations manual. What to do, how they confront critical events. That is not, I know he's responding to something I had raised already, that the police doesn't have critical decision-making manual or model. The Army doesn't have it, and the IGP, if he needs my help, I am willing to help. Because as I sit here, I actually have a paper proposing, suggesting a model, critical decision model for West African police departments. So I think the IGP is totally confused, and it is okay.
But let me ask this. How weird is it that a country like Ghana wouldn't have what you're talking about, a critical decision model?
Laziness on the part of the IGPs that have run the Ghana police, not just the present one, all of them. Laziness, not thinking outside of the box, showing their power, riding big cars, and feeling important, and not doing the job.
So in the absence of that, do the security agencies who are sent there, I mean, do they just have to do things based on what they feel like, or what exactly? Because I'm thinking if there is this model that you have, I mean, that you're recommending should be had, then perhaps they'll be guided by that. So in the absence of that, it's like anything happens.
What they have is actually based upon Article 13(2) of the 1992 Constitution. When you use force, if your life is threatened as a police officer, somebody else's, the defense of property, control riots, and suppress insurrection. That is in the Constitution. That is exactly what they have articulated in GPS 004-15.
Okay.
That's exactly what they have stated. That is not the critical decision-making model. That is why I say categorically the IGP is totally confused and doesn't know what he's talking about. I will be willing to help him, the police. I think if you go to the site, and like we saw in Nigeria, there's a critical situation, and the police has to make, the police, the army, they have to make a decision. What are we going to do? The first attempt is try to de-escalate. There is no manual on that.
There's no manual on that?
No. How do you de-escalate? How do you go about it? Tell me a police officer that can stand on TV and say, I've been trained on methodology or modalities for de-escalation and other means to quell nerves. We don't have anything like that.
So then that's very
These are very simple
things. So you're
things.
suggesting then that the agents go there, the security agents go there and do things based on what they think?
They do things based upon what they think. The soldier that shot in that crouching position like a crouching tiger, those of us that watch
did what he felt like
Chinese movies, what he did, he will walk free. The Constitution says if he feels threatened, the demonstrators, some of them had stones, sticks, and knives. That are weapons of aggression. And a soldier with a gun facing such confrontation, that should not be his first response to shoot. But he felt threatened. Before
but that's in a context, shouldn't it be?
Yes. When they are deployed, so a team is deployed, they are pumped up. I want you to go and take control. They really are sucked up to the point where the only thing they say, they go to Achianse jungle warfare and they practice shooting and killing. And now they come to Ajira and they say, oh my God, the forest has come to us. Now let's waste some people. That's exactly what happened. They didn't practice any effort at de-escalation. They didn't try any alternative method at all. The second thing that I can say that the IGP is confused is that the officer at the site would look at the totality of the situation. The crowd is one of them. Then the issue of weapons or access to weapons. Then the whole mode and the mission statement that was given to the officer. The moment they get there and they do such evaluation, and I think there was some kind of thinking going on in that soldier's mind that something bad is happening based upon the briefing we got, based upon what we are seeing. Let's start shooting. If they had a manual, if they were properly trained, this wouldn't have happened. It is true, as Adib said, this government has invested a lot of equipment in the Ghana Police. We have a forensic lab, 2 of them, cyber security lab, and then we have the lab which is headed by Dr. Afrifa for human and other forensics work. And in addition to that, a lot of vehicles, a lot of things have happened under this government for the police. What has not happened is the human issues, the personnel issues. There are a lot of complaints that when somebody is over 60 and his contract is renewed, and there are so many of the top brass in the police force whose contracts have been renewed.
The IGP being one of them.
The IGP being one of them. I don't want to name names because it's not
but
fair.
That's a fact. I mean,
it is a fact.
Out there.
Yes. So when you do that, you frustrate the rank and file. So that's one of them. So the equipment, yes, is there. Then they don't have the controls to really control the behavior of the rank and file. That is why we saw what happened in Wa. I don't think any decent army officer will go and beat up people in the street because a phone got lost by his own negligence, not because somebody stole it out of his pocket. I think that even the Chief of Defense will agree that they need to really pay attention to personal management and personal control. Now, let me link all this to Ejira. There are a lot of people that have to be held responsible. One of them is the regional minister. Yesterday, he boldly proclaimed that he actually gave the order. Now, I'm sure the DCE fed him information that compelled him to make that decision. He didn't go for second opinion. He didn't do any kind of cross-checking and gave the order to the army, to the police. You have to realize that a lot of people in our current government have colonial mentality. They are old people who think that the soldiers are the best weapons.
Just to seek clarity from Doctor, gave the order in what sense?
He said he gave the order.
The regional minister.
Yes, he said. I wanted to be specific because
to the army.
It's quite instructive what he said. That, look, he actually ordered the deployment of soldiers as well to Ejura.
Yes.
But I'm looking at this context of he came up boldly to say he gave the order.
To the police, to the army.
And what is actually the major issue here is the
deployment of the military.
First of all, the deployment and, of course, subsequent happenings on the ground.
Sure.
Now, whether or not what the soldiers did, okay, was ethical or was professional is what we're looking at.
Yeah, but for now,
the shooting. Now, if the shooting, the order, the critical decision that we spoke about, if that is what we're looking at, could or can we hold the minister, okay, the regional minister, responsible for saying that, look, I am in charge of the deployment because I was asked, and then of course I confronted the commander who assisted me to get deployment on the ground. But the actions, is that what we are actually playing into?
But for now, what we do know is that he's confirmed. He's actually said that he gave the order.
That's cool.
For the military
but the actions
to be
on the ground.
But what that order?
Could that be linked?
At least we know that what happened was that they went in there, and at least the first point of call was for them to shoot live bullets
so
into the crowd.
So he takes responsibility. That's the point.
He hasn't said he didn't say that. He said he gave the order. So we would want to presume that that is what happened, unless he comes to say the contrary.
I thought he did mention that he actually took the blame, or not the blame per se. He actually came out to say, look, the deployment of military was based on some intelligence that he had received, and he did that.
Said,
but as to how they operated, maybe that's fine.
We're going
Dr.
with what
Sorry,
he has
I just
said.
wanted
he
the clarity
said he gave the order. Yeah. And so everything else that came with that order, obviously, will be put at his doorstep.
Is that the extension of it? That's okay, thank you.
Isn't that a natural extension?
You can't fail over this.
Okay.
It is very simple progression.
Yeah.
I detail you to go and do this. Everything that you do after that detail, you are held responsible.
Okay.
I don't think we should talk party defensive tactics
not party.
here.
I mean, I just
because
wanted clarity.
We belong to the same party, by the way. We do.
Oh my goodness.
We do. But I'm telling you, the truth is the truth.
The truth is the truth, yeah.
And virtue is actually indefensible.
Very well.
It stands on its own. He gave the order. Consequently, anything that followed after that order, he's responsible.
Held for that. Okay.
He is responsible.
Wow.
So he should be held responsible. That's abuse of power. One of the things that he should have done is cross-check with other people on the ground. It tells us that our intelligence apparatus at the district level, at the regional level, is not working well at all. Because if it was working well, this wouldn't have happened. The DC had a vendetta against Kaka. And
that is yet to be.
That is being said by the MPP youth.
Still allegations out there yet to be proven. So perhaps we need to wait for the investigations to be done.
We agree.
Very well. But quickly.
So I believe that I think there is a total abuse of power that goes around. If you do a Venn diagram, the regional minister should be held responsible, the DC should be held responsible, the IGP, and of course, the military brass.
Very well.
They should all be held responsible.
Overlapping, if like jurisdictions.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely.
They are all responsible.
Right. Now, Adib, let us understand the structure in terms of the security architecture at that level. Because we're hearing of the regional minister giving instructions. Definitely, we do also know that at that level, there's a regional command of the police, and I'm sure of the military as well. Yeah. So let viewers and listeners understand exactly what it is we're dealing with. Because like you said earlier, there's a RECSEC, Regional Security Apparatus, there's also the DISEC, which would be headed by the Municipal Chief Executive of IDRA and all. So let's understand exactly what the power dynamics in there are and whose ultimate responsibility it is to make such a call.
Well, they are supposed to work collaboratively. I remember in the past when we didn't have a national security minister, one of the issues that came up is the various security agencies or intelligence agencies gathering their intelligence and keeping it to themselves, like their pension space slip. There was the need for collaboration. There was the need for sharing of intelligence. So they thought that in line with the Security and Intelligence Agencies Act, let us have a national security minister who would also at the same time, coordinate the activities of the various security and intelligence agencies in the country. At the sub-national level, like you rightly mentioned, we have the Regional Security Council that is chaired by the regional minister and made up of representatives from the various security agencies and someone who would also be appointed by the president. We also have the municipal, the metropolitan, the municipal, and the district security councils. But before we even come to that, we have the regional security coordinator as well.
Right.
Okay. Then we have the core security agencies, like the military with their commanding officer, the police with their commanding officer. But some of these issues, like it happened with Ejira, most of it has to do, especially at the initial stages, with intelligence. We have, like I rightly mentioned at the beginning of the program, an officer representing the National Intelligence Bureau at the district level. I have personally taken the trouble to go around the country to interact with these people. A lot of them complain about the lack of logistics, and even accommodation is a problem. Sometimes they have this fixed accommodation for all their officers. So the whole community knows that anyone who occupies that accommodation is an NIB officer. And some of them also complained about interferences from the MMDCs. They love to be followed. And the MMDCs, as it were, like it when these guys follow them holding their mobile phones and all that. So it made it, you know, very difficult for them to do their work under such circumstances. But I think when the issue escalated, it was the work of the police to de-escalate it. But like
before the de-escalation, I just want to get, you know, the in terms of hierarchy, who was, you know, whose responsibility it was to make that call. Because it's one thing making a bad call, but it's another making a call that you don't even have the power
call
to.
Specifically?
The regional minister saying that,
Okay.
yes, he ordered them. Was he the one to order?
Well, so far as I am concerned, he is the chairperson of the
RECSEC.
Regional Security Council and is within his mandate to make that call. If he has any probable reason to feel that the security of that area, which falls under his jurisdiction, is compromised, okay? But it doesn't have to be done unilaterally.
Absolutely.
Of course, some consultations would have to go into it, particularly with not just the regional police commander, but the police commander at the decentralized level, okay? Unfortunately, what I am unable to tell is whether that happened, but it's within his mandate to do so.
Very well. Then you're talking about the de-escalation, that the police had to do that.
Exactly. You know, the police had every opportunity to de-escalate. Usually, they call in on the military, which is so very accustomed, like my senior colleague rightly mentioned, to the booga way of doing things. But I don't think that the situation was that fluid to attract the intervention of the military. Come to think of it, fine. I mean, if the people are holding, you know, offensive weapons, it goes beyond just holding offensive. It depends on the context. So, for instance, if someone is holding a machete, but the person is 1 kilometer away from you,
that's no threat.
Even though he has an offensive weapon. So we need to be very clear with the approach to doing this. And I mean, it goes without saying, it's an incontrovertible fact that excessive force was used, which is disproportional. It's just like having a gun, okay? If someone chases you, one of the golden rules is proportionality. If someone chases you with a machete and you shoot at the person, it's proportional. But if someone chases you with a whip and you shoot the person, or like it happened at Alajo some time ago, a thief was stealing a car battery, and this national security operative shot and killed him.
Right.
It's disproportional.
Killing an ant with a sledgehammer.
Unfortunately, that was what was done.
Very well. Yes, let me come to you, Kamaldeen. Generally, there's that sense of growing insecurity in the country. And we'll need to touch on that because obviously there are concerns about that.
Abna,
what do you say to that when people say that there's a growing sense of insecurity?
The head of EU delegation to Ghana, Dinah Akonsia, was posed a question like this. The observation. I mean, my good brother Adib alluded to certain reports coming from the US, you know, outfit and all that, speaking about our security and whether or not we are indeed in a situation of insecurity, as it were. In generic, when I heard the head of EU delegation to Ghana answering the question as to whether, okay, Ghana is indeed in a state of insecurity. I mean, her question was actually not in the affirmative. Said, look, clearly they've gone around, they've looked at it, and I believe that she's not just speaking from what she has seen. I believe she's also privy to certain reports and all that. Said that, look, you cannot generally indicate that we are in a situation of insecurity. I am not a security expert, as it were. But of course, packets of incidents have actually happened, and based on which somebody will say that, look, let me draw a conclusion that Ghana is in a state of insecurity. That cannot be said to be so. Because crime...
Very well, let me ask you to pause there, because I have to come back to Adi, because he will have to be leaving us very shortly. And let him give his way forward. But we've paused. We'll press play very soon. So
all right.
Yes, Adi, way forward in terms of all of these issues happening. Let's tie in the issue about WA, what happened in WA and all of that. Sitting back as a security analyst, seeing all of this happening, the military are being brought to the fore or are in our faces more often. People say, well, the military shouldn't be seen, you know, around as often and, you know, as, regularly as we're seeing them now. It looks like you turn here, things that the police should be doing, you have the military doing them, and it's raising a whole lot of questions. What is the police doing, and why do we seem to have the military in our spaces all the time?
Well, a lot of it has to do with our lack of confidence in the police. I mean, sometimes we feel that by default, the police has failed, you know. So we feel that it is the military that should do the work. But we need to, you know, draw the lines, I mean, between the work of the police, which is mostly interior, and the work of the military. You only have the military intervening when the situation escalates to the extent that the police might be overwhelmed or would not really be able to control the situation. And interestingly also, a lot of these crimes are perpetrated by the young officers full of youthful exuberance and the new authority. I mean, they want to show bravado, you know, showmanship. Because, I mean, a lot of Ghanaians have, in one way or the other, had, you know, confrontations with the military. I used to have a block factory in Tamale, and at a point, some military guys came to buy the blocks for a private work, but only for them to realize that is not what they needed. But what they needed, I didn't have it. So I asked them, okay, fine. You can return the goods, I would sell it, and I'll give you back your money. And that was fair, right? So I was in Accra, only for the boys to call me that the military came and gave them some hot slaps and carried away blocks with a military vehicle, and that was theft. When I spoke about it, I mean, the military said they would look into it. I don't know what became of it. Most of it has to do with past unpunished crimes. And there's always a tendency for the military or the police to say, okay, we're having an internal investigation process. But there are two things at stake. One, there would be a conscious effort for the security agency to preserve morale. You wouldn't want to give them out like that. Secondly, to protect the reputation of the institution. So when you cover up this way, there are also disadvantages it comes with, because one, it emboldens the officers to feel that the uniform gives them some invincibility or some, you know, immunity of some sort. And secondly, it creates resentment within the public space against the security services. And like I always put it, without the civilians, us, it will be difficult for the security services to fulfill their mandates. So it is in the best interest of the security services to ensure there's accountability. And that is exactly what we're lacking, because in the past, similar things have happened and nobody's been held to account. I mean, we've had journalists attacked, and most wonderfully, the CCTV would not be working at the point of the attack, but would work after the attack. And that is exactly what we're seeing. So if we are able to deal with the fundamental issues of accountability, we should be able to prevent a lot more of these guys from going out there. Some time ago, I was at the airport with a senior, like very top senior military officer who was in civilian clothing, and mistakenly we blocked a gentleman who parked. You know, so when we came out, the guy was furious. The guy was talking. You know, so I also got furious. But the military officer said, no, you let him take his trouble away. But if it were these young boys, he would show him that I am a military officer. So I think we need to really nip this culture of or cycle of impunity in the bud if really we are committed to dealing with it once and for all.
So then the need to ensure accountability while maintaining that confidence among the populace in the security agency is what needs to be done. But thank you so much. We need to take a break. Adib Sani will be taking leave of us. We do appreciate your time. He's a security analyst and executive director of Jatike Center for Human Security and Peace Building. When we come back, we continue with the conversations here, and I will go straight to Kamal Dean for him to conclude on the question about the general insecurity or the perceived general insecurity in the country. See you shortly. This is The Key Point. We'll be right back.
Football pa and nothing a high sense as sponsor Euro 2020 Edia Mauno Nesa Suntina Yatiti TV so say who Edia Mauno a high sense Euro 2020 TV super promo can who brand new high sense TV and board that for pictures near clear na color near deep sound quality this so one it here high sense TV so the entry power about down one access you are akona utu sa barefoot 18th June, I copy 11th July. A Hisense Euro 2020 TV super promo. And my review said Hisense and Kwan and my 5 years warranty. A Hisense Euro 2020 TV super promo. I cost a Hisense showrooms. I want Ghana for Nanina. What you would you not say now? Hisense, everyday prices for everyday people. Hisense, official sponsor at the Euro 2020.
Introducing Nestle Milo All-in-One Nutrimix. The goodness of malt, milk and cocoa in Milo, and even more milk. Just add to water and enjoy the perfect cup of winning energy. Milo! Milo!
This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Kwoko, piles, hemorrhoids. Could that be a lasting solution to this ailment? Oh yes, you can trust Pilin capsules from Iona Pharmacy. Pilin. P-Y-L-I-N. Do you have protrusions around your anal opening? Do you suffer chronic constipation? However piles manifest in your body, get Pilin. Pilin has been carefully formulated for piles. Pilin is a plant medicine. Remember, P-Y-L-I-N. Pilin is available in all pharmacies, herbal shops and licensed chemical shops across the country. For bulk purchase, contact Iona Pharmacy, Accra 0553 134 185. Kumasi 0243 123 224. Pilin, the lasting solution for piles. Not recommended for pregnant women, lactating mothers, and children below 12. This advert is FDA approved.
How safe is your environment from pathogens? How do we survive this new normal with bacteria and viruses everywhere? You can take charge of your environment by using Good Air Sans Humidifier with chlorine dioxide tablets to get rid of pathogens, including bacteria and viruses. You can use Good Air Sans Humidifiers in your homes and offices and be rest assured of protection against pathogens. Just set up the Good Air Sans Humidifier in your space to disinfect the place continuously for virus and bacteria-free environment. Our devices work in both public and private spaces like schools, hotels, hospitals, churches, mosques, restaurants, salons, and homes to enjoy a nice family time. Good Air. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
They came in as already made champions. Some were amazing and a delight to watch. Others fizzled out as the week went by. We have 4 strong men contesting in the grand finale, and they have really proven themselves to stand tall. Who will snatch the title, the car, the cash prize, and a trip to South Africa to contest in the Arnold Classics? Will it be defending champion Ahmed Boache? Can 2-time winner Shaka Zulu grab the title? Will it be a new champion, the Swartzman, Brighter Pia, or last year's first runner-up, Prosper Dakora? Make a date with us on the 4th of July at the Early Beach Resort, Tegbi, near Keta, for the live coverage of the grand finale. It's all fireworks in this final. Ghana's strongest, the power to do.
Ghana's Strongest is powered by Gasem, the nation builder. Mixi Choco, Channel Hot.
Calipo, Fruitelli, Iron Man Supplement, Deluxy Superfix Tile Cement, Give Us Core and P Capsules, Afromosis and Fimakio X Capsules,
Adonko Next Level Energy Drink,
Holy Trinity Spa and Health Farm.
Ready, camera? Perla Mundi is a renowned Ghanaian media personality and women's advocate. She is passionate about social issues and takes exceptional interest in telling life-changing stories.
Can you believe through this Ababoya, I've been able to complete University of Cape Coast.
Welcome to Asinkusha. This is actually the cleanest city in Ghana.
Life is not a competition. Keep to the pace.
Action!
Welcome to the Day Show, guys!
The Day Show unravels life-threatening stories.
Before they can steal more babies, they need dead bodies to be showing parents that your baby is dead.
The passion, the fun, and sometimes not so very pleasant moments.
Yes, I have suicidal thoughts and homicidal thoughts.
Tell your story to inspire. After all, everyone has got one.
The Day Show with Perla Mundi now shows on Thursdays at 9 p.m. and repeats on Saturdays at 3 p.m. on TV3.
They have many things in common. Their taste for what's trending, eagerness to spill the news, excitement to share a new recipe, readiness to commit, willingness to book that event. Ultimately, the vibe to make your imaginations go wild. The Ladies Circle.
Every Saturday, 6 p.m. on TV3. Brought to you by
Yaz Sanitary Pad, Vodafone, GTP, still timeless.
Royal Aroma Fortified Rice, Ghana's only fortified rice.
Woodine.
Cowbell, our milk.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Connect FM Community Street Rap Battle Season 4. A remove Obakodo 1J. Do you remember Chichis, Kweku Bani, Yao King, Lasmid and Hyper? Now it's time to crown a new king. Abi you know Dada, a up and coming rapper. Ajihu na bodo, expected bars, Buster Rhymes, Guitar Vim was swagger. Then get ready. Amazing prizes coupled with recording deals and massive promotions on all media general platforms are on offer. Obiara qualify. Come to Connect FM front desk Tardy and pick your forms for free and stand the chance of being part of a fantastic experience. For enquiries, call 0244 244027 or 0245 787886. Connect FM Community Street Rap Battle 2021. Who is king?
If you've ever been in need of dire help and all hope is lost, the doors are closed, then you understand there's power in the words, how can we help you? These are reassuring words that bring hope to the hopeless and relief to the brokenhearted. Have fun and make money while doing it to help a friend, a loved one, your neighbor, or even your community. Can't see, right?
Yeah.
What shall I?
Compass.
There you go. Oh man, how was I supposed to know what you were doing? How can we help you? Let's have fun while making a difference. Proudly brought to you by First National Bank.
First National Bank. How can we help you?
How can we help you? Show Sundays at 5:30 p.m. on TV3. Since the start of the year, they've served you with unrivaled entertainment. They've made your Sunday night super late. It's now time to reward the stars of Date Rush Seasons 4 and 5. It's time for Date Rush Viewers' Choice Awards 2021. Who wins the most popular female, most popular male, drama king and drama queen, most controversial couple, and the biggest of all, the best couple of the season? To vote for your favorite, dial *713*19# and follow the prompts. The best couple of the season wins an all-expense-paid trip to Dubai, courtesy Camel Buy and Fly promo. Date Rush Viewers' Choice Award.
Everyone deserves love.
They came in as already made champions. Some were amazing and a delight to watch. Others fizzled out as the week went by. We have 4 strong men contesting in the grand finale, and they have really proven themselves to stand tall. Who will snatch the title, the car, the cash prize, and a trip to South Africa to contest in the Arnold Classics? Will it be defending champion Ahmed Boache? Can 2-time winner Shaka Zulu grab the title? Will it be a new champion, the Swartzman, Brighter Pia, or last year's first runner-up, Prosper Dakora? Make a date with us on the 4th of July at the Early Beach Resort, Tegbi, near Cape for the live coverage of the grand finale. It's all fireworks in this final. Ghana's strongest, the power to do.
Ghana's Strongest is powered by Gasem, the nation builder. Mixi Choco, Channel Hot.
Calipo, Fruitelli, Iron Man Supplement, Deluxe Super Fix Tile Cement, Give Us Core and P Capsules, Afromosis and Fimakio X Capsules,
Adonko Next Level Energy Drink,
Holy Trinity Spa and Health Farm.
Welcome back. You're still watching and listening to The Key Points live on TV3, also live on 3FM 92.7 and online at 3news.com, also on our Facebook page, TV3 Ghana. So we're looking at the security situation in the country this week, where issues emanated from Ejura, a lot of issues regarding, or starting with the death of the gentleman popularly known as Macho Kaka in Ejura, and the protests that came subsequently, which led to the deployment of military personnel to ostensibly control the crowd, leading to the death of 2 protesters, and 4 other persons were also severely injured. We're having a conversation about that. Since that incident, a number of things have happened. There's been a committee set up to look into the circumstances that led to that unfortunate incident of the 29th June 2021. In the studio with me, Dr. Ishmael Norman, President, Institute of Security, Disaster and Emergency Studies, and also Kamaldeen Abdullahi, Deputy Communications Director of the NPP. Now, Kamal, just before the break, yes, I had to let you pause to allow Adib continue with the submissions, but back here, let's look at that, if we could, continue with the submissions about that, perception of a general sense of insecurity in the country. And you talked about some representative from the EU who was making a certain submission on that. Yes.
Clearly, and I'm happy when you talk about perception, okay? Yes, it is not out of place for us to feel that there is some sense of insecurity because certain things are happening. It's not out of place at all. But I was alluding to the fact that, yes, the fact that we have incidents happening, okay, that borders much more on security. The fact that some people take the law into their own hands to criminally, behave in a manner that would not inure to our benefit, okay, that calls for security agencies, that calls for authorities to try to fight it, does not mean that we can totally say that we are in a state of insecurity in this country. Go down into history from the 64 years that we've had as a country. Ask yourself, is there a year, okay, from I mean, out of the 64 years, is there a particular year that we will not, or the police will never record crime? That is why they give reports annually to tell us number of accidents, number of, if you like, homicide cases, number of, you know, attacks and all that. Those things happen. But it is not to say that we should downplay it. We're not going to downplay it. The perception is right. People can talk about insecurity, but to create an atmosphere of total insecurity in this country, for me, is rather unfortunate. I think we need to get to a level where the definition of what insecurity or total insecurity is will come to play. Abner, you would agree with me that in the sub-regions, where countries where we've had this sense of high insecurity, okay, usually come with strong political instability, okay, usually. Thank God, Ghana, we do not see, we've not seen this, you know, seeming political instability that, of course, have factions that, of course, could, okay, escalate to a level where we will say that there's some civil war or there's some, if you like, disagreement among citizens of this country where rebels are out there and all that. We've not gotten to that level at all.
We haven't, but so there's also what's happening within the sub-region, which raises concerns.
It does.
A whole lot of issues bordering on insecurity on the sub-region. And so the concern is, if we're not able to control what is currently happening in here, then there could be, you know, that opportunity.
So it is important we speak about it.
Exactly.
It is important we raise those red flags so that at least those who are in authority will sit up to ensure that we nip some of these things in the bud. Right. But for me, for someone to just sit down and then draw a conclusion that Ghana is in a state of insecurity, of course, I'm happy that we have an expert sitting here who will tell us what actually amounts to insecurity of a state, as it were. Point is that we say some of these things without knowing that we are even, you know, if you like, pushing people who are interested in coming into our territory to work with us. We say some of these things without knowing that, look, we are even causing economic havoc to ourselves. Because, of course, if I am an investor sitting somewhere looking forward to coming to Ghana to say, maybe let me come and then be a strategic investor, or let me come and, if you like, invest in their economy. Then the next moment I hear on radio, on TV, that there is total state of insecurity in the country. Nothing will let me come. I wouldn't come.
But, I mean,
okay?
That's,
so we should just be circumspect about it.
You're suggesting then that people who are outside looking at what's happening inside do not come to those conclusions by their own analysis or after observing certain things happening. Case in point.
Oh, they do.
When the Idra incident happened, I think one of the headlines that popped up had to do with the travel advice that was given by the UK.
UK, I saw it.
And obviously, that they are observing things and they can come to their own conclusions.
Let's get to this level. Travel advice, yes, it is in their domain or their right, within their right to do or to issue such. Travel advice could also mean not to Ghana, but specifically to those areas where, okay, they cite as problematic areas.
Well, so let's for instance, read what they put out on their Twitter handle, which says that, in line with our travel advice, British nationals should remain vigilant, avoid any large public gatherings and demonstrations, monitor local media for up-to-date information, and follow the advice of local authorities.
Absolutely.
And this clearly was after references to the incidents in Hijra had been made. And so, obviously informed by such, and you can't say that it's just because of the Hijra incident that obviously there's
a caution thrown out there, and which caution, of course, I'm happy you've read, they said to it, says that, look, avoid, you know, demonstrations, avoid gatherings. It's not to say don't come to Ghana. It's not to say Ghana is not safe. But even if you are here, as a British national, our caution is that be careful not to, if you like, get yourself into groups that, of course, will be perceived to be going against the law, or groups that will be perceived to be demonstrating lawfully in a way. However, the instruction that you have just read is not to say that generally there is insecurity or total insecurity in this country. Point I want to make is that let us be careful on how we use some of these insecurity, you know, situations to describe ourselves or to describe our country.
Very well. Some would say that, well, feeling insecure is a subjective issue. So
let me add this.
It's what people feel. And you can't necessarily, you know, dictate how people should feel. They are experiencing it and they are voicing it.
Yes, I know. And
that's the general citizenry, not necessarily the UK.
It's a country of 30 million people or almost 30 million people. Maybe after the census we'll be able to tell how many we are. But of course, we have the right to raise some of these issues and then say that, look, we are concerned about what has happened, what happened yesterday, what may happen in future, we are not so sure. So can we be sure of our security? We should raise it. But of course, again, I am repeating it, we cannot say, sitting here, that in totality, Ghana is under a state of insecurity.
Very well. Dr. Norman, I know you want to say something on that briefly, then we go to...
All right. I think the whole thing falls under the chaos theory. And it says that everything that happens in an ecosystem matters. I think when you look at the dimensions of security, you can actually come very close to saying that we are very close to a state of insecurity. Economic security is a problem. Why are the youth agitating? It's because of economic insecurity of the youth. Social insecurity, a lot of marriages are breaking down, all because of finance, all because of economics, all because so many people are out of job. So you have to broaden some of these concepts, because national security is not only about controlling crime and law and order. It is about how happy we are as people. Absolutely. That comes from the job we do, the associations that we are able to maintain, the demonstrations that we are allowed to do, and so on and so forth. So purchasing powers have come down. Education is in a totally confused state right now. And I'm not speaking as, I'm speaking as an academic, as a researcher, as a citizen of this country. And then we have COVID. And COVID effect is so dynamic. It's affecting everything. So it's not only Ghana that is in a bit of a state of insecurity, but the whole world. The Ghanaian situation is being exacerbated or compounded by the armed robberies and excessive government control over the liberties of the people. We cannot be a nation of rule of law if we cannot demonstrate, to petition our government to do what is right. I am happy that finally the opposition party is going to be allowed to demonstrate. I'm very happy about that, because that shows that we are a mature democracy. You cannot talk mature democracy and control people as if we are in a dictatorship.
Sure.
All right, so I think we have to balance these issues. If you look at it in a very narrow way, that, you know, because of crime, we are, look, the representative of the EU has the best security. She has no right to talk about no, she doesn't. She has, no, I'm telling you, the average, she's protected 24 hours. She is protected 24 hours. Her income is bigger than most people in Ghana. She has economic integrity, economic purchasing power. She can go to any shop and buy things that she wants. I cannot. You cannot. And maybe, I don't know about Abuna, maybe Abuna cannot.
Let's go.
You know, so relatively speaking, when people are on a high level of the totem pole and they're talking about issues, just cut them there. Don't bring them down to the level of everybody.
Very well.
Seriously.
Let's move on. So, still on this issue about, you know, Ejura that we're looking at, a number of voices have come up. Next, we'll be hearing from DCOP Mametiwa Adodankwa, who had to say something about, you know, the issues concerning the death of Kaka. You remember that earlier on there were rumors that his death had been as a result of his social activism. But Mametiwa Adodankwa has some things to say about that. Let's take a listen and we return to our panelists.
In terms of the Kaka's murder, IGP told them that they gave impression that nothing was not being done, and that the person was attacked by people who were angry because he's an outspoken person or that. But investigation has revealed that it is actually not the case, and that because the case is still under investigation, he doesn't want to compromise the investigation by disclosing whatever that we've done at this stage, and that at the appropriate time, whatever investigation would have come out with will be made available to the general public. They called on IGP to resign, and IGP assured them that he will do whatever that it takes to ensure that everybody is protected. And he didn't take it to heart. He just was calm about it and assured them that he's working so hard that everybody in this country, whether demonstrators or bystanders, will be protected.
Right, that's COP Mamitiwa Adodankwa, Director of Welfare with the Ghana Police Service there, indicating the plans the IGP has in respect of bringing some finality or closure to this issue about the killing of Kaka. Kamaldeen, your thoughts on that?
I think the comment by Mamitiwa, for me, is hastened.
Is what?
It's hastened.
Okay.
I mean, from her own, narration, she goes like, investigation still ongoing, yet to get to the fin of the matter. Okay? But of course, those who are of the view, again, that it was as a result of his social media activism that he was killed. Of course, what they have gathered so far doesn't look like it.
Yes, but still it's ongoing.
Of course. I would have thought that, having said it's ongoing when we get to the finality of the matter, I would have also thought that the public inquiry that is yet to take, place and all that, the committee has been put in place. Yes, it is important to come out to speak, but if you are not giving us the finality of what you have gathered so far, it could also be that in the course of what you said, by the tail end of it, it surfaces that, look, or it emerges that, look, it was as a result of this. So I would have thought that, look, authorities, let's just try as much as possible. You can come out to douse the fire. You can come out to speak, as it were. But of course, if the matter is within your domain to continue to investigate to get to the bottom of it, don't rushingly come out to speak on this matter. That is an advice for me. Because frankly, we will not get the clarity of it at the tail end of it. But you see, again, that brings to fore the fake news in the system I'm talking about. That brings to fore the media who are supposed to be very, critical.
You raised that earlier.
I know.
You raised that earlier.
On their editorial issues. If we come out with sensational headlines, come out with matters that, of course, does not even relate to the situation or to what has happened. We're creating chaos for ourselves.
That's fine.
And it will not be proper for all of us. We can't poison the atmosphere and just go scot-free like that. We should watch it.
Definitely.
That's important.
That's a good point to make, yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
Dr. Norman.
Yes, ma'am.
Kamaldeen raises a very important point. Indeed, when I heard Mamitiwa make that statement, I was like, okay, perhaps let's just wait for the investigations to be done. Then you can make, because you never know. The police could chance on some of the information that would very well
reverse
undo everything. So why make that statement? And especially coming from Mamitiwa. We all know what happened, with the Takrade missing girl situation. And so perhaps you would think that some lessons would have been learned, and so in terms of communication would be a bit measured and, take our time before we come out. But that obviously raises an issue about a coordinated effort when it comes to the police in terms of communicating to the people. Yes, it's important that we're given updates on what is happening, but we are not necessarily saying, come and tell us things when they are not conclusive as well, because we also would want to have some concrete information out there. We don't want to be told one thing one time and then another, something else. So what would be your advice in this regard?
I think, thank you, Abna. I think a lot of times I agree with my brother here that there's a bit of a rush. They haven't developed a theory for the investigation, a theory for the crime yet. And when you don't have a cogent theory as to how your investigation is going to go, then you are a little bit confused. And then you come out and say things that are not really pertinent at the moment. But I will not blame it only on her. Somebody must have given her the instruction to face the media, to update the media. So, no, because in an ecosystem like the police organization, she cannot just appear before the media without consulting superiors. So I think it is the general weakness of the police department or service in investigating crimes of national importance. And they don't take their time to develop the theory of a particular crime before they start talking, and they always appear to be not prepared or not well trained. But again, like I said, it's an update. It's subject to modification. So I won't blame her too much on the update.
Right. But let me take some messages that have come through briefly, and then we will continue with some aspects of this issue. This one says, this one's coming in from David in Boku. He says, good morning, Abna. Please ask Kamal if it has, if this had happened in 2015, who would he hold responsible? How he should stop the double standards. Okay. Elias Tamale says, it is a figment of the imagination of those who think there's insecurity in the country. Even in America, there are pockets of excesses by men in uniform. Let us not call out men in uniform with the sole aim of spitting them in their face. Much as they be criticized for some of the excesses, we must also condemn the conduct of those Ghanaians in Ijra who chased away a police armored vehicle. Such conduct is un-Ghanaian. We would be doomed if the civilians think they can overpower the security. Hi TV3, this is Edelbert from Tamale. The government should do something about the insecurity in this country. Without the government's permission, the regional minister cannot pass an order to the military. This one also says, good morning, madam. I disagree with Honorable Kamaldeen. Nanado's government has lost security control. D from Akache North District says, good morning, Abna. The doc has made my day. All his analysis on point. He is my role model. Okay. Another one coming in says, my name is Aminu Shiraz from Ejura. The youth are suffering. We don't have jobs to do when we finish school. Exactly. So speaking to the economic insecurity that Dr. Norman raised earlier, a number of messages coming through. I'll be trying to pull some from the Twitter handle as well to share with you. But let's look at the other development that has come subsequently, which is the constitution of the committee that is to look into that. First of all, let's look at the President's directive to the Honorable Minister for Interior, Ambrose Derry, to set up that committee. The minority strongly opposed it, but obviously the directive still stands, and indeed a 3-member committee has been formed. The minority was raising an issue about that public inquiry, saying that, well, rather than have a ministerial committee, let's have a commission of inquiry. And they obviously believe in that commission of inquiry within the intendment of Article 278 of the Constitution. Some have also said that, well, whether it's a ministerial committee, a commission of inquiry, or whatever it is, really and truly, we don't expect much to come out of it. And Kamal, let me come to you with that. And this, obviously, case in point, Ayawaso West Wogon. A white paper would obviously be issued, and then literally 70 to 80% of the recommendations would be
not taken,
would be rubbished, literally, and nothing happens. So question is, why even bother? Why bother? Ministerial committee, commission of inquiry, whatever it is you may want to call it.
You see, in the local account balance, I am told that when you are told that your child is drowned, okay, you don't stop drinking water, isn't it? So you see, those who come out with this naysaying that yes, in the past,
is it naysaying? It's based on factual matters.
Let me. Naysaying in the sense of speculating what will be the outcome in the end. For me,
guided by historical antecedents.
The point, yes, guided by that, I agree. First of all, the directive by the president is within the remit of the law, that we can have a ministerial public inquiry into matter with the law permits, and governance also, or good governance, that's not frowned upon. Secondly, the call by the minority to have a full-blown presidential commission on this matter is also within the remit of the law. Of course, more so backed by the Constitution, as it were. So they are all not wrong. That's one. But you see, where I find a bit worrying, what I find a bit worrying about these calls, when the minority talks about commission, okay, and then of course says that we do not subscribe to the public inquiry by the minister or the ministerial public inquiry, and then ends up to say that what even happened in our Ayawaso West Wagon. First of all, Ayawaso West Wagon was a presidential commission, okay, which, with a great respect, I wouldn't say the minority, but I know the NDC on the other side, okay, who of course constitutes a minority, came out to say, look, it wasn't even worth it in the first place. An issue had happened, people were maimed, or had actually people were injured in the process. The president says, set up a presidential commission of inquiry, look into the matter in the proper sense of Article 278, as you rightly said. Citizens of this country, okay, for the sake of politics or whatever reasons best known to them, says that, look, we don't accept it. We won't even appear when we are called. The next moment, after the commission is done with their report, they run into town with the commission's report as a Bible to make reference to and say, even the government who set up the commission is not working with it. You see, I'm saying that we shouldn't continue confusing each other. The point is, this public inquiry, once it is within the law for such to be set up, let us have confidence in it. You see, yesterday when I saw the committee put together, Justice, is a judge,
Kumsen,
not justice,
yes,
I should say.
Court of Appeal judge. Yeah.
Court of Appeal judge, George Kumsen, security expert. Aside his legal, you know, he being a legal pundit, he is also a security expert, we're told. Dr. Vladimir Enchudanso, great personality, very credible when it comes to security matters as well. Doc is here, and for these are they are colleagues. You see, they understand the system. Of course,
I'm sure people will quickly point you to the membership of the Ayawaso West Wogan Committee as well. No, they'll talk about them short, they'll talk about him, and all of them.
I will come to that. I'm saying that then the third person, Juliet Ado, another great state attorney. If we have such people, okay, put together, what we expect is that they come without fear or favor, okay, inquire into the matter, come out with a report, and now we all expect that whatever report that is brought out, if the government is supposed to act, then the government must act. The government must act. Whether it was going to be a commission or it's going to be a public inquiry. But there are those who have also made argument of this double jeopardy argument, that you go to a commission, you have the power to subpoena, all right, as the minority rightly said, you subpoena whoever you want to subpoena to come. Now, if adverse findings are made against the person, as to whether the person can be prosecuted is another matter. Then someone makes an argument that, oh, maybe could it be the reason why we are opting for a ministerial committee? So that that window of being prosecuted, whoever is culpable, will not be closed? It could be. It's a reasonable argument. That I say that we could have a commission, well, we've had it before. The Ghana 50 Commission. When it was done with their work and all that, it was supposed, some people were supposed to be prosecuted. The government of Atamals made a move to prosecute. When they got to court, they kept quiet. And you know, you are lawyers. The technicalities were raised. That could you or can you subject someone through a double jeopardy of trial? That came up, and of course, it never worked. So it could also be a reason that why the presidency thought that it is important we have a ministerial committee, so that when that window of prosecution is supposed to be open, there wouldn't be some bottlenecks, as it were. I want to look at all this. But of course, like I said, I'm not a legal luminary. I am not also a security expert. But reading what I have seen, and then juxtaposing same to history, okay, I think that the way the president has actually positioned it is the best way for us to go. Let us all be very candid when we appear before the committee. Whoever is invited, let's be candid about it. Because there's a plethora of stories going around. Some say it's about fix the country, some say it's about this, some say... You see, we end up even muddying the entire discourse. And there will not be evidence sometimes to adduce properly. You make the work of the committee also very difficult. That's why I said that, look, people who are speaking to this matter, be careful how we speak about it. Let us try to impose trust in our institutions, and then we move on. But where we appear not to even trust something, a process that we have all put together in the first place, then we have a difficulty.
Trust is not in a vacuum.
Yes.
Trust
is
not in a vacuum.
I know.
Confidence is not also in a vacuum.
That it happened yesterday.
And so, yes, not just yesterday, several times.
I know.
We can talk about several commissions of inquiry
still stop
under different administrations, yet nothing has changed. And so if people come to this issue with a bit of cynicism or skepticism,
they're right.
They are totally
they're
right.
They're right.
And so for me, I think, yes, in as much as we would want to preach, yes, let's have confidence, let's be open-minded if you like, and all of that. I think the foundation for that statement really and truly is non-existent.
The fact that you are of the view, because the last time I sat here, when the committee, the IOSO West Wagon Commission got done with their job, and we're supposed to look at it. It was on the same platform, not, I mean TV3 as it were. And we're talking about whether or not government white paper is supposed to swallow hook, line, and sinker all the reports that comes from a commission. Is that what the law says?
Not necessarily.
And the answer was no.
Not necessarily, exactly.
Absolutely, not necessarily. But they look at it. That's why some people make some argument of cherry picking. That you take what suits you and then you leave what is not.
But you see, the good thing, the good thing with the commissions of inquiry, at least from what we've seen, recent one being IOSO West Wagon, is that it was televised. We all saw it. And so when certain conclusions are made, and you have certain statements made subsequently in a white paper, obviously, you can come to the conclusion that, come on, we all saw this happen.
Yes.
And what is this kind of statement coming out of it? So you see, that's the beauty of the commissions of inquiry, and especially when it's televised. And obviously, I'm sure moving forward, it will always be televised. So it's not that people are making statements or critiquing it just because they want to critique it. It's founded in what they saw.
I am saying that all this has happened, but it doesn't mean we shouldn't move forward.
Very well.
And moving forward, it doesn't stop us from setting up committees and commissions as well to look into it. So that we'll be guided by history to say that yesterday we didn't do this. Maybe in future, let us do what is right.
Very well. Let's hear from Dr. Norman on this committee.
I think about a few days ago, I was on a program with Honorable Agaga on a sister station, and I actually supported the fact that there should have been a commission of inquiry. But I hear what you're saying, and creating history, tradition, for comparison purposes, I think is good. But I also hear what Abena and so many other people have said, that whether it's a commission or inquiry, nothing is going to come out of it. Because it looks like the presidency decided not to listen to what the Melchor Commission had recommended. And I think if a lot... it's not a perception, it's a reality. The outcome of that, the offshoot of that, are some of the consequences we're harvesting now, with the violence, with the demonstrations, with the misunderstanding that's going on in the country, creating a sense that Ghana is not completely together on the issue of the way where we're going. My issue is actually with one individual. I respect Professor Nchidanso very much. I have worked with him at GAFC. There are continuing collaboration going on with him at GAFC. Because he knows how the military works, because he's been embedded in a military organization for so long, I know he's a man of integrity. I cannot use, there's so much descriptive adjectives that I can use for him. He's a good man. But due to his comfortable relationship with the army, I wish he hadn't accepted the position. Because he becomes an interested party in some way. But he didn't appoint himself. He didn't nominate himself. So when you are given an opportunity to serve your country, no matter the experiences on you, you accept the job and you try to do the best job. So my only worry is how people will perceive his involvement, given his entrenched relationship in the Ghana military. He really has trained so many officers.
He's a dean of the Ghana Armed Forces Command and Staff College.
Yes, and trained so many officers over the years that objectivity is going to be a hard one for him. And he has to constantly keep reminding himself, this is a matter involving the army, and I have to be objective, he's also a criminologist and an international relations expert. So I know he's got the skills to do this job. There's no doubt. But my only worry is the appearance of being an
there being a conflict in there.
Yes.
Doc is
we will need to take a
likelihood of bias.
Yes.
Kind of.
Sure.
But I want to disagree with Doc a bit. I remember just a short while ago, Doc said, look, I'm one of you, I'm an MPP. But it doesn't stop Doc from criticizing the MPP if they are wrong. So going by that principle, I want to believe that the eminent people on that committee are really going to do their job, and they are going to do without fear or favor. Let us give them the support, give them the right info if you have it. And the citizens of this country, especially those in Nigeria, if you indeed have what it takes to prove that this is exactly what happened, please petition, write to the committee, appear before it, and then help us get to the bottom of this matter.
We need to take a break quickly, but let me have your thoughts on this. 10 days for the committee to work. Do you think it's good enough time?
No, not enough time at all. If you can imagine the parliament is giving itself how long? 1 month.
Yeah.
So why so quickly?
Very well. Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll interrogate this debate about the timeline, 10 days, and the feasibility of that. Well, we will come to that and then conclude. I mean, go on to other aspects of it. We have some more time here, quite substantial time to go, and there are other angles to come from when it comes to the analysis of the Ejura shootings. And let me remind you that we've definitely not forgotten about WA and the developments that came from there as well. This is a key point. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
For over 20 years, Chemo has gone the extra mile to beautify homes across Ghana. We offer a wide variety of world-class bathrooms, tiles, kitchens, and interior finishing, giving customers the peace of mind they need to relax and create their dream spaces. We assure you of unbeatable offers, expert advice, and premium customer care. Locate our showroom on the Spintex Road, close to Manette Junction, or call 0900 200 000. Follow us on social media at Chemo Home. Chemo, relax, dream, create.
Impressor oil na capsules kura ahoɔden nnuro a ɛboa ɛyi yawa a ɛnam sasabro usisi wachiri bremo ne afei waposo nyinaa firi nipadua no mu. Impressor capsules kura ahoɔden a ɛtumi boa esiesie no mpa a ɛho akokwa nea ntokrontokro deda mu ɛne afei waposo gregira awewie no nyinaa esiesie no ɛma no ahoɔden foforo kura. Wopɛ aduro a wobetumi de wo ho atoso na ayi wo honam yaw nyinaa de a ɛne impressor ne aduro a wɔn a ɔwɔ yɛfunuyadeɛ mpo etumi no mbie sɛ wonom impressor capsules na wo de impressor oil twitwibia a ɛyɛ wo ya no a ɛne ne wato adi yaw bedwane ntem so kura. Wopɛ impressor capsule ne oil bi ato a kɔ pharmacy, licensed chemical shop ana herbal shop a ɛbɛn wo atufom frɛ Ayona Pharmacy Limited ɛwɔ 0553 134 185 ana 0243 123 224. Impressor Yao Bejani. This advert is FDA approved.
I feel at home whenever I'm in front of the camera. It reminds me of the time when I was a little boy. I used to entertain my family.
After all, it's our story. For the best of your original dramas, telenovelas, and sports, get your GoTV decoder, GoTenna, and a month of GoTV Plus for as little as 109 cedis. Download my GoTV app to easily manage your account on the go. GoTV. Love it.
They came in as already made champions. Some were amazing and a delight to watch. Others fizzled out as the week went by. We have 4 strong men contesting in the grand finale, and they have really proven themselves to stand tall. Who will snatch the title, the car, the cash prize, and a trip to South Africa to contest in the Arnold Classics. Will it be defending champion Ahmed Boache? Can two-time winner Shaka Zulu grab the title? Will it be a new champion, the Swartzman, Brighter Pia, or last year's first runner-up, Prosper Dakora? Make a date with us on the 4th of July at the Early Beach Resort, Tegbi, near Keta, for the live coverage of the grand finale. It's all fireworks in this final. Ghana's strongest, the power to do it.
Ghana's Strongest is powered by Gasem, the nation builder. Mixi Choco, Channel Hot.
Calipo, Fruitelli, Iron Man Supplement, Deluxy Super Fix Tile Cement, Give Us Core and P Capsules, Afromosis and Fimakio X Capsules,
Adonko Next Level Energy Drink,
Holy Trinity Spa and Health Farm.
We embarked on a journey through the various zones of Ghana in search of a beauty queen, the one that stands tall amongst the others, a worthy queen in oratory, cultural value, beauty, and hidden abilities waiting to be discovered.
Let us know who you are.
I'm beautiful, you cannot see me. I'm very confident.
They amazed the judges, threw them in awe with their convincing performances.
When the person running, I grabbed a knife and I stabbed him 5 times. When tomorrow comes, tomorrow comes.
The laughter. The shock.
You want this to go out on air?
The joy.
We've made it to the next round.
Bye-bye.
The emotional and wow moment.
Mommy, oh, you can't do this to me. Wake up.
Why you don't know was once a born, and I know I born, so no, I born after the after Santa. Wow, that's interesting.
And this is just a step to what is to come. It will only take hard work, determination, and focus to attain the enviable position, the prestigious crown. Ghana's most beautiful, rediscovering true beauty. Africa and the world. Are you ready?
Catch all the fun and excitement of GMB 2021 auditions on Wednesdays at 9 p.m. with repeats on Saturdays at 2 p.m. on TV3.
They have many things in common. Their taste for what's trending, eagerness to spill the news, excitement to share a new recipe, readiness to commit, willingness to book that event. Ultimately, the vibe to make your imaginations go wild. The Ladies Circle.
Every Saturday, 6 p.m. on TV3. Brought to you by
Yaz Sanitary Pad, Vodafone, GTP, still timeless.
Royal Aroma Fortified Rice, Ghana's only fortified rice.
Woodine.
Cowbell, our milk.
This Saturday on Chef's Diary,
we're going to have a perfect grilled, barbecued, glazed chicken with pierogi. So pierogi is an Italian stuff, but we are going to make yam pierogi.
Okay.
So that's the Ghanaian and African factor with tomato coulis.
is brought to you by CBG and supported by Tasty Tom, Frito Sunflower Oil, Fortune Rice, Yaz Luxury Tissues, and GTP.
Chef Diary shows Saturdays at 5:30 p.m. on TV3.
1997 changed everything. Ghanaians finally experienced TV that offers variety, spice, and flavor. Acapulco Bay, Gold Blast, Hits Video, Evening News, Esmeralda, and much, much more. 23 years on, and we are still just as committed to delivering the best TV experience. We present to Ghana a few of our Galacticos.
We live to serve you unrivaled entertainment daily.
There's a good reason we're undoubtedly the first and the best in news.
With us, you'll never, ever lack world-class lifestyle content.
TV Sports continues to define sports media in Ghana.
You can always count on us for the most exciting and impactful homegrown reality shows.
We have the men and the women. TV3, we have it all. TV3, first in news, best in entertainment.
Welcome back. This is still the Key Points. We're live on TV3, also live on 3FM 92.7. We're also online at 3news.com, also on at Facebook at TV3 Ghana. We're still looking at the issues emanating from IDRA this week and looking at brutalities meted out by security agents and asking many questions here. We're in the studio with Kamal Dean Abdullahi, also with Dr. Ishmael Norman. Earlier on, we had Adib Sani join us, and we are moving on with the conversation. But before that, let me take some messages that have come through. This one is coming in for Charles Nyame in Asamankese. He says, every government's best performance is seen in their second term, but what we are witnessing under this NPP government is highly disappointing. They've demonstrated beyond doubt that this is the worst administration Ghana has ever had. Security and safety is the simplest thing any government can provide for its citizens. But unfortunately, they have failed this one too. God save us. Come out, did you say something?
No, I'm saying 5 months.
Well, the government is, well, let's move on. Good morning, Madam Abna. My greetings to Doc for educating our IGP. And this is Mahama Shani in Tamale. This one coming in from Damba says the Big Six Secretary in Tamale. He says, good morning, Abna. Let's dispassionately deal with the criminal aspects of the IDRA incident rather than to politicize it as usual.
Perfectly.
True. I think it's high time I think it's high time that we ignore the politics and fight for our rights in Ghana. Now in Ghana, everyone's brain is full of political lies, but what I'm sorry, this is not quite clear. I'd have to skip that. Yaya Saeed from Nandom says, good morning, Abena. What's happening in Ghana with regards to security upheavals in the country? I'm not surprised. The fact that they are in their second term in office due to too much power drunkenness, we are likely to experience more of such things. It's only when they lose power that they begin to make sense in their own thinking. But then it's too late to salvage a situation. Those are the thoughts of a Ghanaian politician. Wafa Jomo in Amasaman says, good morning, Abna. Please tell Kamal that nobody is doubting the competence or the integrity of the commission. What we are saying as citizens of Ghana, which Kamal himself knows, is whether the president or the minister will implement the commission's recommendations. Ata Eduse in Bekwai Natmo says, Ghana is not in a state of insecurity. The government is doing well to disabuse the minds of the people who have negative perception about the country. After all, even Kaka has never been a member of the Fix the Country group. Well, that's yet to be established conclusively. Good morning, Abna. What we are telling the government is that they should allow Ghanaians to go through in peace and not in turbulence, we beg. That's Awal in Tamale. I'll pick a last one here. This is Kamara in Sola. He says, good morning, Abna. The government needs to be blamed for all these atrocities meted out to civilians. We need the president to take action by pinning down the unscrupulous security officials involved in previous and current disturbances in Wa and Idra. A year ago, a teacher in Sola Senior High School was imprisoned for having an affair with a female pupil, yet a soldier would murder and still be walking free. Indeed, some, well, you say animals are more important than others. Well, that's Sola. Sorry, Kamara and Sola. Thanks for the messages. Please send them through. We will be happy to share them as we go along with the program. I will be moving on to the Article 278, which speaks about the commissions of inquiry, and that obviously is coming against the backdrop of what the minority in Parliament had, requested in place of the public inquiry or the committee that the President had directed to be set up by the Minister for Interior. So essentially, Article 278, which speaks on the commissions of inquiry at Chapter 23, and we have projected it behind me here, states 2781 says, subject to Article 5 of this Constitution, the President shall, by constitutional instrument, appoint a commission of inquiry into any matter of public interest where A, the President is satisfied that the commission of inquiry should be appointed, or B, the Council of State advises that it is in the public interest to do so, or C, Parliament by a resolution requests that a commission of inquiry be appointed to inquire into any matter specified in the resolution as being a matter of public importance. Clause 2 says a commission appointed under Clause 1 of this article may consist of a sole commissioner or two or more persons, one of whom shall be appointed the chairman of the commission. Clause 3 says a person shall not be appointed a sole commissioner or the chairman of a commission of inquiry under this article unless he is A, a justice of the Superior Court of Judicature, or B, a person qualified to be appointed a justice of the Superior Court of Judicature, or C, a person who has held office as a justice of the Superior Court of Judicature, or D, a person who possesses special qualifications or knowledge in respect of the matter being investigated. And the last clause, Clause 4, says, subject to Clause 3 of this article, where a commission of inquiry appointed under Clause 1 of this article consists of more than two commissioners other than the chairman, at least one of them shall be a person who possesses special qualifications or knowledge in respect of the matter being investigated. So this is by way of public education. This is what the minority in Parliament was calling for, as opposed to what the President had directed. And you remember that, or you recall, that the Ayawaso West Commission was set up pursuant to this article, Article 2781. And there are a number of commissions that have been set up pursuant to this article. But the question is what becomes of the reports. And indeed, one of our viewers or listeners sent through that message I was asking that it is not about the nomenclature, if you ask me, whether it's a committee or whatever, but it's really what happens after the committee or commission submits its reports, indicating the findings and the recommendations there. And what happens is what is really an issue of concern. So yes, back to the issue about the committee that has been set up. Just before the break, I raised the issue about the time. Parliament, or the Speaker, Joe Wise, sitting in for Alban Bagbin, directed that the Parliamentary Committee on Defence and Interior, excuse me, should also look into it. They have 4 weeks. The President or the Ministers' Committee has 10 weeks. What are the likely challenges to be experienced in here? If you could start with me, Dr. Norman.
Parliament has more leeway and be able to interview more witnesses and do deeper investigation. And the investigation has to do with time, element of time. When you don't have enough time to collect data, it becomes, everything becomes compromised. So my fear with the 10-day ultimatum to the Minister of Interior and Professor Vladimir's commission inquiry is for me, I think they are going to be so hard-pressed. Because even Emil Shaw Commission had issues with time, and they were rushing sometimes, but they did a very good job. So I wonder how, you're a lawyer, and even doing basic criminal case involving just two persons, doing investigation takes a bit of time. So it's not going to be an exhaustive investigation, the conclusions will be perverted.
But you can never have sufficient time, can you, for anything?
Exactly.
And so you can't also leave it to, I mean, what would be a sufficient time frame, for instance?
For me,
I'm sure some people would even say the 4 weeks given to the parliamentary committee in itself is also not.
4 weeks is a good amount of time to really conduct a exhaustive investigation. And I wonder how they're going to do that in 10 days.
Very well. Let me quickly announce that we've been joined on the phone lines by Honorable Peter Tobu. Okay. He is the MP for Wild West constituency, and he is a former police officer, so indeed very well versed in the issue that we are looking at. Honorable Tobu. Honorable Tobu, good morning.
Hello, good morning. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. And how about you?
I'm doing fine. I can hardly hear you.
Okay, I'll try to speak out as loud as I can. Can you hear me?
Okay.
Is it better?
Okay, let's try. Let's try.
Very well. Now, yes, so you are a former police officer. I would want you to come to this issue, I mean, obviously from that perspective. Let's look at Ejura and what happened. The crowd there and the sort of deployment that was done by the security agency. Was it commensurate?
Was it?
Was it proportionate?
Thank you very much. Let me say good morning to our charity's listeners and viewers, and good morning to my dear friends, Kamaldeen and Doctor in the studio. Today is another beautiful day in Ghana. We try as much as possible to contribute to our quota to national development, very particularly our peace and security environment. What happened in Nigeria? If I can tell you one single statement, it is the challenge of intelligence. Kaka died. We knew that we were going to bury Kaka on a particular day, and we knew that the way Kaka died, the youth were they were very likely to show some signs of anger. This was not something you need to even analyze. It was written on the wall. And intelligence was informed all of us that on that particular day, let all of us be concerned. And before the day, we should have done a lot of work behind the scenes to assuage the pain and the frustration of many of his family members and friends and brothers alike. So when we got there and we went to bury the body and were coming, what happened for me was something that was anticipated. It's not something that should surprise anybody. And what I didn't like was the fact that I didn't see that heavy deployment of the police, particularly the specialized unit in charge of crowd control. We have a specialized unit called the Form Police Unit in charge of crowd control. And I'm very confident that if we had deployed the right tools, gotten the right intel, analyzed and be able to do what is right, we would have seen the violence all right, we would have seen the anger of the people all right, but it would be within national level, and we couldn't have gone to the point of going to bury one person and killing two more. That was really very unfortunate.
Right.
And I'm sure that as we go forward, we should be able to find lasting solutions. But I've always said, anytime you invite the military into an internal security related matter, particularly a crowd control matter, you don't expect. Military are combat trained. They defend the sovereignty of the nation. They are trained to combat, and they are trained to deal with people who are armed. It's not like if you have a boxer, Asma Nelson cannot start fighting. It is not allowed. His training is said that if he fights you, he can kill you. The soldier is not supposed to go to town and get involved in crowd management related matters. It is a police domain. So when we get them involved there, they come to do what they've been trained to do. Right. One thing that we have to take note as a country, let's not demean the Ghana Police Service to the point that we think that everything that is related to crime or everything that is related to insecurity, we should bring in the military. We will finally get to a point where nobody will respect the police. And we'll also get to a point where we are cheapening the Ghana Armed Forces. Let's not cheapen the Ghana Armed Forces, because Ghana Armed Forces is well respected, globally endorsed as one of the best. And for us to come home in their own country and we try to cheapen them and get them into this mess, one thing is quite unfortunate, I would just say.
Very well. Now, you talk about the failure in intelligence being the cause of, Ejura. Why would you think that would be the case? And because we are looking at a security setup which, has, various layers, and you would think that there would be some level of collaboration in respect of that. So what do you think caused this failure in intelligence?
Successful policing runs on effective intelligence. The first thing that the district commander in charge of the district would do is to analyze the situation and inform his divisional commander that what I am foreseeing, I don't have the capacity to manage. So I will need extra men. I will need extra staff. I'm going to be needing extra support. And the divisional commander will write to the regional commander and say, the situation in Ejura, as you see it, is no longer a district-level situation. This is a situation of national concern. Let's give it the maximum support. So let's add something to what we already have in Ejura for us to be able to contain the imminent situation. So at the end of the day, if that happens, I'm sure that the police deployment would have demonstrated that they've gathered intel enough, they've analyzed the situation, and they anticipate crowd, they anticipate violence, and what they would do is to quickly saturate the place even before the people gather. So right from the cemetery coming back to town, police have saturated the whole town, and it will be difficult for people to even gather and become violent. So we are being proactive. That I didn't see. Even at the point that I saw the soldiers getting onto the ground and taking the lead, I didn't see the police numbers. And what it probably meant was that they underrated the security situation that was going to emerge. So if you underrate it and you are surprised, who do we blame?
Right. Now, let me ask this. The regional minister has subsequently stated that he actually ordered the deployment of the military. What do you make of that, and what should be done, given this statement?
The regional minister is the chairman of the Regional Security Council. So within the arrangement, if the regional minister as the chairman of the Regional Security Council has the power to order the military into an internal security related matter where he thinks without the military situation could degenerate, he has done what he's been empowered to do. And probably that is within his job description. And that is why I've always called for a holistic security sector reform. When you find a civilian issuing instructions to an organized body like Armed Forces or the Ghana Police Service, you only end up with a mess. Policing or the Ghana Army is a command, it's a structured situation. It deals with command and control. So when you order them to go, you also need to tell them what they should do. Did he tell them to go and shoot, or you order them to go and use their discretion? Command and control will have to be held responsible. But here's the case, the commander now is a politician. The commander now is a regional minister. The president will have to hold him responsible. What analysis informed him to get the military onto the ground? And the police will tell you, it is our job to invite the military. It is a policing-related matter. When we are overwhelmed, we will stretch our hand to invite the military and give the military some area to come and operate in. It is possible for the military to have gotten to the scene and be on a standby visible to the crowd. Visible to the crowd because visibility alone is a first step show of force. So if the military had even come to the scene and just park somewhere and be visible to the crowd, let the crowd see the military is here. They've arrived. But they are not getting involved because they are watching to ensure that there is sanity. That is level one force. And if it gets to a stage that the police say, no, gentlemen, when we are gotten to police, military, you can come in. When they are coming in, they could probably do worse than what we saw. Because if a crowd is killing, a crowd is destroying public property and government property, of course, there is no way we will allow that. The law allows us to stop that kind of violence. The law allows us to stop that kind of mob, even to the point of killing people who are also armed. We have shot and killed 2 people. The question I ask, Nuruddin, and what is it, Nasir and Mutala, who were shot and killed, were they armed? So if we are talking about we are justifying the use of arms, if you want to justify the use of arms is the last resort. In fact, it's a lethal force. The lethal force must be in response to a lethal threat. Lethal force must be in response to a lethal threat. Absolutely. You don't use a sledgehammer to kill a fly. But that is what has happened. I think that going forward, we should begin to look at a whole security sector reform, the whole structure. We have to look at it. The national security structure, a regional minister gives order, police and military are involved in something, the regional minister gives order, military go there. According to his own civilian interpretation and understanding, it is time for the military to step in, and they did. This is the result. If you are not happy, let's look at the system.
Right, that's indeed true. We need to look at the system. But let's look, you know, when Ejura happened, I mean, people were saying that, well, that is, the issue goes beyond Ejura. In fact, the lawlessness, the indiscipline, and all that comes, you know, with that, goes beyond what we saw in Ejura. And guess what? Less than, or just about 2 days after the Ejura protest and the unfortunate killings, we had what happened in Wa happen, where, you know, some soldiers allegedly, because one of them had lost their phones, actually subjected, you know, some people on the streets in Wa to such inhumane treatment. Now, sitting back and looking at this, what do you make of that? What are your thoughts? What are your concerns?
Thank you very much. With my eye, the glasses that I wear, you can see that security is breaking down gradually. Security is breaking down gradually. And I trace it back to even the point when President Nana Akufo-Addo was sworn in, civilians beat up a police officer at the presidency. DSP Nankan Bruce at the time was beaten up by civilians who were party apparatus. What has happened to that case? Nothing. They went into a court and disturbed the court and did all that they did. What happened? They were fined. And they are walking around free of charge. So you see, when you allow impunity, gradually you get insecurity. And let me repeat that. If you allow room for impunity, you generate into insecurity. What happened in one was just a consolidation of what we call indiscipline. In my constituency in Wuchao, a young man who was unemployed for many years decided to establish a washing bay. Soldiers go there to wash their vehicles in Wuchao, West. And one day, the young man said, gentlemen, when you wash, please try and pay. I am paying life bill. All the young men who are here working, I pay them. And the soldier said, you want us to pay you for washing our car here? He said, yes. I will collect 15 cedis, but because we've been relating for a long time, you are here for our security. Please always pay 10 cedis. They go up, dress up, and came back, get the young man to their vehicle, send him to their barracks, and put him into Paul. And this is the kind of army that you think that we can call them the Ghana Armed Forces. No. This is not the behavior. This is not the character. This is not the level that we expect to see from what we call Ghana Armed Forces.
Right.
Their image is far higher than the recklessness and indiscipline we are seeing being perpetrated by people in uniform who, unfortunately, we have to describe them as soldiers because that is who they are. The case is reported to the police, and I am monitoring it keenly because I know when matters of this nature happen, the police has a way to go about it and get the military high command informed about what their men have done. That case, because of my background, it never came up. It would have been the first to come up before the war. I push it down to let the police handle it. And now, they break walls in war. A security officer, a soldier, you lost your phone. Not that they even collected the phone from you by force. Not that you were robbed in town. You lost your phone, and you allegedly expect that the phone will be in one of the Pragya or the Mama can move vehicles in town. So you organize your men and go to town. Anybody you meet along the road, beat them up. I was just watching. When they sent me the video and said, look at this video, look at what is happening. And I said, oh, is it Afghanistan? Because they have a lot of tricycles there. Is it Somalia? And the person said, no. This is Ghana. Not just Ghana. This is your hometown. This is Wa. I said, my goodness. What has happened? Are the people in the conflict and the soldiers are going to deal with them to bring sanity? They said, no. It is rather the soldiers who are going to create conflict to beat people up. I said, well, we are gradually getting to a level of insanity, unfortunately.
Now, in wrapping up, Honorable Tobu, subsequent to the occurrence in Wa, there's been an apology from the leadership of the military. What do you make of that? Again? I'm saying subsequent to what happened in Wa, there has been an apology from the leadership of the Ghana Armed Forces. What do you make of that?
Apology for such an act? It's expected from leadership. But what is much more expected is that the military system should work. We need to weed out all these chaps that have found themselves wearing military uniform, disgracing all of us, disgracing the country, embarrassing our democracy. Apology was accepted, but we are waiting to reoccurring. And in preventing it from reoccurring, people who are getting involved in this must be dealt with. And the public. Okay.
Very well. Now,
we need to see that how the military is trained enough to deal with its own rot. And that will build trust between the public and the military. We cannot demean our armed forces. No. We cannot demean our police service. No. So when we have done that in there and we are fortunate for them to show their faces in a public activity like this, we need to get them out quickly and give a feedback to the public that, look, it doesn't matter who you are. If you wear the military uniform or you wear the police uniform and you misconduct yourself, the rules and regulations governing the organization will deal with you and you are out.
Very well.
And let's continue to build that confidence with our military and our Ghana police service.
Very well.
They are the people, whether we like them or not. When we are in trouble, they are the same people who will still come to protect us.
Right.
But let's not allow these kinds of people in uniform to denigrate the image of these huge institutions responsible for national defense, national security, and internal law enforcement organization.
Very honourable. Honourable, lastly, the conduct of the soldiers has been blamed on the mode of recruitment and training and all of that. And indeed, several or different administrations have been accused of getting...
Can you speak out a little?
Yes, I'm saying... Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Good. I'm saying that the actions by the soldiers in WA, for instance, have been blamed on the mode of recruitment and training. On the mode of recruitment.
Okay.
Yes, and training. And also, it is a truth that several administrations, after administrations, have been accused of getting in to the Ghana Armed Forces and indeed the security agencies in general, members of their parties are party apparatchiks. And this has raised issues about the quality or the professionalism of security agents. What do you think the way forward should be?
The way forward is to be able to know that this is what we did wrong, and we all agree that it is absolutely wrong. It will eat us up one day. It will degenerate into total insecurity. When you have security officers recruited and trained and they are meant to provide security and they are rather creating insecurity, it tells you that there is something wrong at the intake level. That I agree. I mean, one thing that is so wrong in this country, and it's so sickening and disheartening, is the fact that what was wrong yesterday, when we talk about it and people say, oh, yes, it is wrong. But what can we do? Because 3 days ago it was wrong. So why are you talking about it now? So what we are doing is we continuously multiply the wrong to justify the past. You know, we multiply the wrong today to justify the present, saying that it has happened before. And we call it, unfortunately, we found the term for it, we call it political equalization. If we do political equalization with security, these are the things that you see. And all of us will be disgraced one day. It is unfortunate. For security, I always speak with this passion because as much as I know I'm a politician as I speak to you, matters of security, I'm so passionate, I don't want to politicize it. What doesn't make sense doesn't make sense. Getting recruitment. Is it Warren Buffett said, if you want the best for an organization, 3 things you must look at in recruiting people. The people must have integrity, they must be intelligent, and they must have energy. And he says that if you get people who have energy and they are intelligent, and they don't have integrity, they are a poison to the system, they are a poison to the organization. What's the integrity of the officer who is involved in this kind of thing? That you carry a gun as a soldier and you can squat and look into the crowd and shoot. What kind of training were you given? Are you really representing the image of the Ghana Armed Forces? That is a no. And because of that, I'm so confident that the army will rise to the occasion and with the system, they will shape the system and get many of these people who are just quartered and run holes out of the system, and we will get our armed forces back. And I'm sure the police will do the same thing. And let's get a starting point to say that from today, this kind of politicized recruitment, recruiting untrainable people. There are many of the people that are not trainable, but you can put them in there for 1 year. They can never be turned into anything positive. They are not just amenable to training. But, you know, it is all about looking for jobs for boys. If you look for jobs for boys and you think that it's only police and army forces, armed forces and the immigration service, security services, you give them your job. Oh, you give it to them. When the security system gets bad, there's no color discrimination in that. Security doesn't discriminate. Security has no political color. So when we do the politics inside and it breaks down, all of that, excuse me, we'll see how, we'll be able to understand our level of foolishness. Excuse me.
Very well. I know I said lastly like twice already, but really lastly, the 3-member committee that has been set up to look into the occurrences of the violence, the shootings at Ejura. What do you make of that? Are you optimistic about the outcome?
Thank you so much. Let me thank the President, His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo, for making an attempt to do what is right, even though that's not what we expected. Listen, the Inspector General of Police could set up a committee to investigate this matter. It's a policing-related failure. The Minister for Interior could set up a ministerial committee to investigate the matter because the police, they are under the Minister of Interior. And this is a law enforcement issue. The President himself could set up something, but at the President level, we don't expect him to direct the Minister to do what he could have done by himself without the directive of the President. What we expected the President to do was to understand that people died in the matter. And in Ghana, you cannot try any mega case in a magistrate court. You can't try any mega case in a circuit court. All those things will be just committal proceedings. Mega cases are tried at the high court level. And so the Constitution is very clear. Mr. President, institute a commission of inquiry with the status of a high court to be able to handle this matter sensibly, like what happened in Ayawaso West. And the weight will be there. They will have penal people. Even the Minister of Defense themselves, the Minister of National Security, will see to coordinate intelligence to the point that it happens, the regional commander or the regional military will be given direct instructions to the military to be able to participate in the law enforcement related matter. All of them should support us, bring their experience to bear, what they did in the process, so that we'll get something that is holistic enough to prevent future occurrence. But if you are talking about a ministry.
Right. Yeah, I think we've lost Honorable Tobu there, but we did indeed exhaust all that we needed to have with him. So thank you very much, Honorable Peter Tobu. He's the MP for Wild West constituency, and indeed he was speaking to us from his constituency. We are indeed grateful for that. And let me add that he is the NDC MP for Wild West constituency and a former police officer. We do appreciate your perspectives there. Thank you so much, Honorable Peter Tobu.
Honorable Peter has been a very good friend. We 40 years back, we've been together. And when he was a policeman in Bolgatanga, he was my very good friend.
Right.
And
we need to take a break.
Yes,
though.
okay.
So when we come back, we will talk about that. Then we'll be wrapping up soon as well. We're going all the way to 9:50. This is the key point. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Since the start of the year, they've served you with unrivaled entertainment. They've made your Sunday night super late. It's now time to reward the stars of Date Rush Seasons 4 and 5. It's time for Date Rush Viewers' Choice Awards 2021. Who wins the most popular female, most popular male, drama king and drama queen, most controversial couple, and the biggest of all, the best couple of the season? To vote for your favorite, dial *713*19# and follow the prompts. The best couple of the season wins an all-expense-paid trip to Dubai, courtesy Camel Buy and Fly promo. Date Rush Viewers' Choice Award.
Everyone deserves love.
Treatment of cancer can be very expensive, but there is great hope for Ghanaian teachers.
So, cancer is a deadly disease. It's a deadly disease because the treatment involves a lot of money. And so, if you don't have the wherewithal to undergo the treatment, you will die. But we, as teachers, we know that there is a remedy for us.
You bring along your payslip, and then you also bring along your NAT identity card. And once that is established, you are given the treatment free of charge.
Made possible by the collaboration between the Ghana National Association of Teachers, NAT, and the Sweden Ghana Medical Center, SGMC.
Some of our members still not aware that there is a facility like this here.
My wife also talked to her association, which is the Ghana National Association of Teachers, NAT, and were attended to promptly.
If you're a Ghanaian teacher and a member of NAT, you enjoy absolutely free treatment of cancer.
If you are a member, your spouse stands to benefit if she happens to suffer the disease. Your daughter, your son also stands to benefit if she also happens to contract the disease.
Nat Hour, a documentary of hope for the Ghanaian teacher, shows Wednesdays at 5:45 p.m. and Sundays at 1:30 p.m. only on TV3.
Connect FM Community Street Rap Battle Season 4. A remove Obakodo 1J. Do you remember Chichis, Kweku Bani, Yao King, Lasmid and Hyper? Now it's time to crown a new king. Abi you know Dada, a up and coming rapper. Ajihu na bodo, expected bars, bust the rhymes, get a vim or swagger. Then get ready. Amazing prizes coupled with recording deals and massive promotions on all media general platforms are on offer. Obiara qualify. Come to Connect FM front desk Tardy and pick your forms for free and stand the chance of being part of a fantastic experience. For enquiries, call 0244 244027 or 0245 787886. Connect FM Community Street Rap Battle 2021. Who is king?
Started out by backing some of Ghana's greatest legends, from Amanza Badnabru to Akosua Ajapong and everyone in between. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for Abiana.
If you love me, love me.
It's a round of applause now, ladies and gentlemen, for Fabia.
Music shows every Saturday at 8 p.m. on TV3. Don't miss it.
The Saturday mornings will never be the same again.
We will bring you the best mix of sports and lifestyle content on Warm Up Plus.
We will interview exciting professionals from different fields of endeavor, including sports and fitness. Give fans an opportunity to show their passion and preview upcoming games.
Discuss what's trending in the world of sports and entertainment, give you lifestyle tips, serve you music, exercise, dance, laugh, and have an absolute ball on TV each Saturday.
So whether you're a fan or you just like fun,
you will absolutely love Warm Up Plus.
Warm Up Plus shows live Saturdays at 10 a.m. only on TV3.
"1997 changed everything. Ghanaians finally experience TV that offers variety, spice, and flavor. Acapulco Bay, Gold Blast, Hits Video, Evening News, Esmeralda, and much, much more. 23 years on, and we are still just as committed to delivering the best TV experience. We present to Ghana a few of our Galacticos.
We live to serve you unrivaled entertainment daily.
There's a good reason we're undoubtedly the first and the best in news.
With us, you'll never ever lack world-class lifestyle content.
TV Sports continues to define sports media in Ghana.
You can always count on us for the most exciting and impactful homegrown reality shows.
We have the men and the women. TV3, we have it all. TV3, first in news, best in entertainment.
Welcome back. This is still the Key Points live on TV3, also live on 3FM 92.7. Online, we are at 3news.com and also on Facebook at TV3 Ghana. So we're just about wrapping up on the conversation here this morning. This today has been all out looking at the issues about security coming from the occurrences in Ejura, then Tuwa, and many other issues that have come up in between all these issues. And in the studio, we have Kamaldeen Abdullahi and also Dr. Ishmael Norman. We've been speaking, we spoke earlier to Honorable Peter Tobu and Adib Sani as well. So let me come back to you, Dr. Norman. I raised an issue about the mode of recruitment into the security services, and I think consistently we've been raising that as an issue, and it has come up again. Interestingly, when the wire incident happened and we had the subsequent apology by, I can't remember exactly the office that man holds, but quite up there in terms of hierarchy, I think Chief of Defense Staff or something? Yes.
General Prempe.
Exactly. He said that, that these people who were, the soldiers who were involved in the wire incident were new recruits. I think they are coming just about 4 days or so, and I mean, raising issues about the kind of training that is given to them and the orientation and all of that. Your thoughts on that?
If they were in fact new recruits, that's the more reason why they should have adhered to the training that they got. I think that is, as Honorable Tobu said, this is a breakdown of discipline within the military forces and even sometimes within the police. Because new recruits, when I was a new recruit in the Army, I could not go out there and behave like that. So this tells us that either the training is not effective or that the people don't respect the Army anymore because of who brought them into the Army. And that is probably the major problem that the Army is facing. There's too much protocol recruitment going on in this country. The elders are destroying the country for the youth. They are responsible for the protocol placement in the Army, in various public institutions, and they have to stop that. The parliamentarians are also involved. They want to prove to their constituencies that they are doing a good job for them, so they are picking people no matter their level of education. In this day and age, you have to have police officers that are first-degree holders. You have to have Army officers that are first-degree holders. Yes, you can miss the high school students, graduates amongst them, but you have to go towards that direction, because otherwise you're going to end up with people who basically know only how to do bad things, but they can't think.
You give them training, they're not able to even imbibe that.
Exactly.
Very well. Kamaldeen, your thoughts on that?
Well, I think what Peter said earlier, I just want us to look at it. The intelligence bit of our ecosystem in terms of security must be looked at and taken seriously. That I agree with him entirely, and it is something that we really have to look at, because when Kaka's matter happened, like he said, I mean, intelligence should be picked properly as to when he's going to be buried, what is going to happen, what is anticipated, how many men do we need. It was just excellent. I could not have agreed with him the more on that part. And I would urge whoever, okay, that has the capacity or the authority to do this, to up their game in that sense. Now, fast forward to where we are, compromising the security agencies that we do have is a canker. It's a big problem. And I would narrow it down to we the politicians. And of course, beyond we the politicians who facilitated, I then move to the citizens of this country, as it were.
What have we done?
What? Yes, they demand. You are an MP. Look, and I'll tell you, Honorable Peter will tell you that he goes to Wild West, Wechap, and there are families who will come to his house early in the morning and say, our child wants to be in police and you are the MP, you must help us.
But they can demand, you don't have to necessarily
Listen, no, we are in a country where the voter feels much more empowered, much more stronger than the one who is to be voted for. And that is why I'm saying that we are narrowing down to politicians.
The voter is stronger.
I know, I do know. But the point is that you have the mandate given to you, but do not blackmail the person you want to vote for, okay, to do things untoward, okay, just because you are going to vote for that person. My point is that we politicians easily fall to some of these things.
Because of your promises?
The fact that I'm looking for votes,
in your promises.
Then somebody comes up to tell me that, look, we are in this community, we are those who are supposed to call the shots here, and we need 2 people or 3 people among us to go into the police. You don't have the eye to scrutinize such persons. All you know is that maybe I may go to the Interior Ministry to see if my connections can hold, then get these people into the police service, then you go do that. And then at the end of the day, we have dangerous people, you know, enlisted on the police service. I think that we should look at it critically. The government of Nanado started something, that online registration should be taken up. when Doctor was speaking, Doctor said, look, we're in a country where now we should up our game in terms of who we engage as security personnel. Level of education, level of integrity, the quality of the person we are picking, the endurance that the person is going to have when it comes to training and all that. We need to assess all this. But is that the case? Maybe it's not. When Anado came in, the Interior Minister said, look, this idea of just sitting down and then calling people from districts, come and be policemen, should be a thing of the past. So let us institute a model. Which model is that? Let's have a platform where anybody who wishes to be part of it will apply to online. There are party people and there are people, families who felt that this online business, we don't even know who, whatever. I mean, we want protocol. And this is where the problem is. Nanado administration said, look, well, let's fight this protocol. Get it out, get anybody to apply. When they apply, they go through a certain process, which is going to be quite rigorous in selecting who becomes the police person or becomes a military man. I think when we are able to establish this properly and then educate the populace that, look, it is for your sake, that we don't need to have riffraffs as policemen or military, men. It is for your sake, because you never know who will come after you. Giving a gun to someone who is not well, examined. You never know. The hair that is even carrying it. So for me, I think it's a problem. We need to look at it. And all politicians and also citizens of this country, let's understand. Let us educate ourselves that we need proper people to actually be enlisted on it. Now,
very well. The name of the game is meritocracy.
Finally, on this one, Peter, just a second. Peter talks about the fact that a high court is where murder is tried. Inquiry is not trial for me, per se. Okay? I want us to be clear. I mean, he says they have a problem with the mood or the approach of the president. And then he gives a reason that, look, high court is where, when murder happens, you can have a no circuit court.
Because he's looking at the Commission of Inquiry having the same powers as the high court.
I agree. The processes even sometimes start even at the lower court.
Sure,
I know committal starting at lower court before it gets to the high court. That's it. But my point is that we should be careful. You are calling for people to be prosecuted. If there's a window closed on prosecution, and then the soldier who is supposed to be going onto public inquiry to find out whether he's culpable or not culpable, ends at a commission, what is next?
Very well.
So I think we should look at it well and then follow up.
Very well. We will do that. But Dr. Norman, we just have about, I think, 3 minutes to wrap up. I would want you to touch on how much premium we put on the psychological state of a person in terms of getting into the security agency. Because Kamal raised the issue about putting a gun, in the hands of somebody. So do we even put any premium on that?
There are a lot of
in terms of our training
graduates with psychology degree, but we don't use them in this country. And there should be at least police psychologists who are helping for the recruitment, that they go through psychological evaluation. We don't do much of that at all. In most of our institutions, even lecturers, we don't. So you have a crazy lecturer in a classroom harassing.
There's a thin line between sanity and insanity too. So.
Seriously. Line, So there has to be all of that. But I think as we discuss these issues, I hope the authorities are listening, because oftentimes we bring out a lot of good ideas, but they don't
take them on.
They don't pay attention to it.
Right. Just about a few minutes ago, concluding remarks from Aldine. And then
well,
30 seconds each.
Yeah, what happened in Ejura was quite unfortunate. We must all condemn it, and I will call on the youth of this country. Let us not be quick at, taking the laws into our own hands. Certain times, yes, you have the right to demonstrate. You have the right to ensure. But there are procedures that we have laid down for ourselves to even go through that. Now, again, the bravery with which they came out to say, let's fight even the security agencies. I saw a video where they were pelting stones on the police, strongly. Maybe it brings to fore the argument of the IGP that sometimes when you get to threaten, get to a level where you need to defend yourself, then you invoke Article 13, like you rightly mentioned, of the Constitution. Right. I think that the youth of this country, no one is saying don't demonstrate. Come out. But let us be people who are peace-loving and, of course, try
due process, obey the law. That's all.
As responsible citizens of this country.
Very well.
So that we will not get all these confrontations happening.
Done? Concluding remarks?
I'm still available to the IGP.
Very well. Okay, Mr. IGP. That's a word from Dr. Ishmael Norman. But let me say thank you to you very much. Indeed, it's been an interesting time here. Dr. Ishmael Norman, President, Institute of Security, Disaster and Emergency Studies. Kamaldeen Abdullah, Deputy Communications Director of the NPP. And earlier on, we had Adib Sani here with us. And also, Honorable Peter Tobu joined us. And also, thank you to you, our viewers and our listeners. We do appreciate your time with us. And thanks for spending your Saturday morning with us. We'll be back here same time next week. Bye-bye.